normal stuff like politics in the future, they know where to find you. Let folks know where they can find your stuff.
Of course. So you can follow me on Twitter at Morgan Stevens A. And, I'm working on a book right now. It's my first book. So I'm hoping that it will be out by early 2023. But it's a grand adventure, and it's an honor to write not only about my own experience, but to kind of dig deeper into how long COVID is impacting individuals, our healthcare system, our economy, and politics.
Yeah, this is one of those things we talk about in the studies. This is a blast radius event. You talked about your family dealing with it. This is something that's going to have a blast radius for a long time to come, and we're going to keep talking about it. We're definitely going to have you back. We're going to talk to you on the long form podcast as well, hopefully in the near future, really dig into this. But thank you so very much for your time today. I really, really appreciate it, and I hope folks got something from it.
Thank you so much for having me.
Morgan Stevens, thank you so much, ma'am. I'll do it for Heard Tell for this time. Little different episode, but that's okay. We don't just want to cover the hardcore politics or the latest cultural debate over this and that and the other. We want to touch on important stories, and the most important stories, all the good stories, are stories about people. And this story about COVID and how it affects people is going to be with us for a long time. We're going to be covering it in a lot of different ways over many, many years, no doubt. So it's a good thing to go ahead and start doing it now with folks like Morgan Stevens, and we appreciate her time today. We're looking forward to talking to her again on the deeper, in-depth podcast version. There's a lot there I want to get into that we just didn't have time for, but I appreciate her. So wherever you and yours are across the street around the world, we hope you're well. We hope you're well fed. We look forward to talking to you again tomorrow on Heard Tell.
All the music on Heard Tell is provided under a Creative Content license from monstercat.com.
Somos la máquina.
I'm a boat builder. It's a tough job that takes time, patience, and precision. It's also incredibly rewarding. How many people can say they built a boat from scratch? In our area, there's a great need for people who can build and repair boats. I turned my love for life on the water into a career that I truly enjoy. I went to CFCC for 2 years, got my training, and now I look forward to work every day. You can too. Visit cfcc.edu/boatbuilding and get started today.
Hi, this is Justin Humphreys from the Humphreys Law Firm on Eastwood Road. The Humphreys Law Firm is located in Lumina Station, Wilmington, North Carolina, practices civil litigation, intellectual property, commercial, and residential real estate. Please give us a call at 910-332-0721 or visit us on our website, which is www.humphreysfirm.law. You can also listen to me every Thursday from 6 to 7 p.m. on the Big Talker 106.7 FM.
Hello, I'm Jeff Rivenbark with WWAY News. Hospitals are trying to save the lives of multiple people gravely injured by inhaling smoke in a fire that is already New York City's deadliest in 3 decades. Dozens of people were hospitalized yesterday, and as many as 13 were in critical condition after the blaze, which killed 19 people. Investigators determined that a malfunctioning electric space heater started the fire in the 19-story building. Authorities say 9 of the dead were children. A comedian and actor best known for his role in the sitcom Full House has died. Bob Saget was 65. The Orange County, Florida Sheriff's Office says it was called yesterday about an unresponsive man and found Saget dead in a hotel room at the Ritz-Carlton in Orlando. Detectives found no signs of foul play or drug use. Saget was in Florida as part of his I Don't Do Negative comedy tour. Saget was also the longtime host of America's Funniest Home Videos and the narrator of How I Met Your Mother. Back in the Cape Fear, 2 Bladen County high schools will be going remote this week due to staffing issues caused by COVID-19. Starting today, West Bladen and East Bladen high schools will transition to remote learning due to positive COVID-19 cases and exposures. Remote learning is scheduled to last through Friday. The Board of Education is set to discuss the district's mask mandate at its meeting tomorrow. Right now, masks are currently optional. And finally, a heads up for drivers in New Hanover County. Work is expected to begin this morning on a railroad crossing near Highway 421 and is expected to cause some lane closures. CSX will be performing repairs in the northbound and southbound lanes of U.S. Highway 421 near the New Hanover County Recycling Center. There will be a detour for those trying to access the landfill and recycling center. Construction is scheduled to end Friday. For more on these stories, head over to WWAYTV3.com. I'm Jeff Rivenbark. Have a great day.
Happy Monday, everybody. I'm WWAY meteorologist Ramel Carpenter with the Storm Track 3 forecast. Cloudy start to the day out there across the Cape Fear, but those clouds will make way for some sunshine and certainly some temperatures that are much cooler than normal. We're going to be in the upper 40s for most of the afternoon, despite the sunny skies. And then heading into the overnight hours, clear skies. Going to set us up for a cold night as our temperatures drop all the way down into the middle and the upper 20s. Get your full forecast on WWAY and WWAYTV3.com.
This news and weather is brought to you by Two Men and a Truck. For your free quote, go to twomenandatruck.com. twomenandatruck.com.
Folks, we all know ongoing road construction and traffic can weigh heavy on your vehicle. Since 2006, O'Leary's Automotive Repair has provided comprehensive repair services at affordable prices to get you back on the road in no time. Their ASE certified technicians will help you find a cost-effective repair and maintenance alternatives. O'Leary's has multiple locations in the area in Hampstead, Leland, the Myrtle Grove area, Ogden, and Wrightsboro. O'Leary's Automotive Repair, a trusted, locally owned business since 2006.
I'm K.O. Davis from K.O.'s Coast to Coast Tree, and I want to be your tree man.
When your trees need cut, 2 letters to know. One is a K, the other is an O. K.O.
Tree man. Proper trimming is the most important thing that you can do, so don't just hire anybody to do it. You need someone that knows what they're doing.
K.O.
Call the professionals at K.O.'s Coast to Coast Tree and visit KOTrees.com.
If you want to talk about culture and politics without all the caterwauling, then you'll love Hertel Radio with me, your host, Andrew Donaldson, every weekday morning, 6 a.m. with a replay at 3 p.m. right here on the Big Talker. Catch it on the Listen Live tab on the app or watch on the Facebook page.
Happy Monday, ladies and gentlemen. That's right, it's time to get up and get at it. This week don't start no faster than this. Don't start no slower than this either. It's time to get it together, ladies and gentlemen. Go! That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Monday, January 10. Not even 50 degrees outside. Rain came through, washed everything away. I think it washed away the feral cat of our neighborhood. I mean, as sorry as it is that the cat is feral, it's a good thing he's not in my yard anymore. Only because I am deathly allergic to those things. Beautiful creatures, deadly. Deadly to me. So, of course, some of the big news everyone's talking about this morning is the blaze in New York. Probably one of the most deadly and heartbreaking as the Cotton Club fire. I mean, in 30 years, I would have put it in the 90s. I'm not sure what fire happened in the 90s. Can't be near as bad as the fires in 2011. That was pretty brutal. Or 2001. That was brutal. A defective space heater in the middle of cold. What's interesting, the article said it was a duplex inside an apartment building. I'm sorry, but I'm used to a duplex being a single building like the one I'm in with two people. You know, there's one half of the house is one family and the other half of the house is the other family. They're in a building of brick. Man, that's horrid. Hope everyone there is okay. A lot of thoughts and prayers going out in that direction. They determined rather quickly what had happened, so no malicious intent. Certainly no hate crime, no Omicron revenge. It was an accident, a horrible accident. I just learned a new purpose, new usage for the word duplex out of it all. So that was my part of it. Andrew Donaldson on Heard Tell this morning was conversing with our friends, or with his friend, about long COVID. And it's not like a long coat or long pants. Long COVID is the symptoms and such that stay with you long after you have recovered. But this is not a new concept. Many illnesses, including asthma, have long-term effects that can cause damage down the line. Same thing with the flu. The flu can continue long after the medicine has taken effect. So if someone seems like they're having a bad day, try not to get too short with them. They could be having a bad day. If they come back from lockdown and they're still hacking up a lung, don't get all upset. Don't go all Karen and Keith on them. Just give them a little bit of space. Step away. So many folks. I know people who went on vacation, who did the vaxxing and the masking and did everything the right way and still came back positive and ill and not enjoying life at the moment. So Mother Nature, more than human nature, is undefeated. But we here in North Carolina, being the brilliant souls that we are treating this situation much like we handled the hurricane, Category 5 hurricane headed down to our shores a couple of years ago, and we decided to shoot shotguns at it and wave memes at it and make jokes about it and run our fans and everything else. That's how brilliant we are. That'll do it. That's how we're going to fix it. Not the best way to handle a situation, right? One of the things I thought was funniest about that whole hurricane is that they closed the ABC stores. Suddenly everybody's liquor cabinet was priceless. Lots of theft of individual people, alcohol in a house. I don't even drink, and I was looking at this guy like, really? Really? You came back in the middle of a hurricane just to steal your roommate's booze. You didn't get any clean underwear or socks, but you stole the booze. Well, we know where your priorities are. Of course, the day I met him, I only got to see him for about 3 minutes before he took off to the beach with a bottle of booze and was subsequently arrested for DWI. Yes. That's how bright this guy was. I'm supposed to be heartbroken over it or something. I still don't get it. But if you play stupid games, you will win stupid prizes. That's all there is to it. In some cases, you don't even have to play the game. All you got to do is be sleeping in your bed, and next thing you know, the firemen are yanking people out. I remember that when I was a boy. I'm getting tired of hearing my parents yelling and fighting. I put the radio under my bed. This is a long time ago, 1972. But it was before that. It might have been 1970, something like that. And the clock radio I had was powered, 110 volts. Back in the day when energy efficiency was not necessarily a term. And this clock radio stuck between two pillows under my head got really, really hot and started a fire. I awoke to my mom's Herculean strength ripping me out of the bed and tossing the bed itself through the window. Pane, glass, sill, everything went out that window. It was an accident because of a dumb 4 or 5, 6-year-old was trying not to, hear the fight and wanted to hear his music and almost burned down. I mean, you can't burn down an adobe house. It's made of mud. It's not going to burn. But the kid inside the bed and the bed made of wood, yeah, he'll burn. Thankfully, I didn't. But the surprise of being dead asleep and then yanked awake by people that are very, very excited and energetic and quite agitated. Now imagine that in an entire building where people are living on top of each other like rats. A fire breaks out and it kills a number of people only because of how close they were to each other. Makes you kind of glad we live, a house away from the next, apartment buildings have always scared the hell out of me for exactly that reason. Duplexes, not so much. There's only 2 of us. Quads, right? There's 4. You're starting to get a little dangerous. You start packing 4, 5, 600, 1,000, 1,500 people in a building. I look at skyscrapers personally and think, wow, what a monument to our technology and our ability. However, I do not want to be in that building for any length of time. Because it's just too great a potential for, damage. I won't be able to get out. It's a long way down from the 15th floor or wherever some of these folks were. It's kind of scary. I'm glad it wasn't malicious. I'm glad there isn't anybody to blame. The city has come together, put together a fund for the folks, and of course giving them the support they need to make sure they have food, somewhere to, sleep, nice and warm, protected. But still, that's a pretty rough way to go. Right after Christmas. On Heard Tell this morning with Andrew Donaldson, yes, the long COVID. Just, man. Now we got more masks going back to school. It's just crazy. What else are we doing? Oh, Colorado. This is fresh from Ordinary Times, written by Jay Bird. According to The Hill, Colorado Governor Jared Polis announced on Thursday he has pardoned 1,351 people for minor marijuana possession crimes. Polis signed an executive order granting individuals pardons for their drug charges, also lifting 3 commutations and 15 other individual pardons for prisoners, according to a statement earlier this year. Polis signed into law a bill that allows state residents over the age of 21 to legally possess up to 2 ounces of marijuana. Imagine being pulled over and arrested for having a rose in your car, or for having some parsley or sage, rosemary, thyme, having a cat of nine tails, having some swamp grass. It's a plant. We're going to legislate a plant, a weed that grows all by itself. Doesn't even need us involved, right? I mean, when I grew up, this stuff would grow on the inside of a spare tire. But we're going to legislate it and determine if you are a good or bad person if you have a bag of weed. Doesn't matter that you got 5 DUIs. As long as you pay the fine on your DUIs, you can have your license back in 2 weeks. That's socially acceptable. You can drink, but oh my God, if you smoke, you're a horrible person. So now everybody's going to go to Colorado, which would be nice. There's a lot of things we could do, that they could do in Colorado that they don't need to be doing here. That'd be fine. That would be absolutely fine by me. Makes you wonder, huh? A Soviet Pepsi commercial. This is pretty, I can't imagine. I don't even want to watch it. Will Truman, I appreciate your post, but I don't think I can share that one as much as I would like to. Exciting, isn't it? Yes, it is. That's what I thought. Here on the Asylum on the Big Talker Online, the inexperienced have taken over the morning show. I just make the buttons work. Oh, my. Another story about Bob Saget. That was horrible. I remember America's Funniest Home Videos. They were trying so hard to be, popular and relevant. But that's the way it goes sometimes. You do what you can with what you got. Doing what we can. Yes, you are in the wrong hobby. You know what? I think I'm going to take a news break, get a hold of a couple of people, see what I can do to spice this thing up. Because it's just, it's a Monday. A lot of people are out, not feeling well. And me, not knowing what I'm doing. So we'll be right back after some news break weather stuff. See you in just a moment.
Hello, I'm Jeff Rivenbark with WWAY News. Hospitals are trying to save the lives of multiple people gravely injured by inhaling smoke in a fire that is already New York City's deadliest in 3 decades. Dozens of people were hospitalized yesterday, and as many as 13 were in critical condition after the blaze, which killed 19 people. Investigators determined that a malfunctioning electric space heater started the fire in the 19-story building. Authorities say 9 of the dead were children. A comedian and actor best known for his role in the sitcom Full House has died. Bob Saget was 65. The Orange County, Florida Sheriff's Office says it was called yesterday about an unresponsive man and found Saget dead in a hotel room at the Ritz-Carlton in Orlando. Detectives found no signs of foul play or drug use. Saget was in Florida as part of his I Don't Do Negative comedy tour. Saget was also the longtime host of America's Funniest Home Videos and the narrator of How I Met Your Mother. Back in the Cape Fear, 2 Bladen County high schools will be going remote this week due to staffing issues caused by COVID-19. Starting today, West Bladen and East Bladen high schools will transition to remote learning due to positive COVID-19 cases and exposures. Remote learning is scheduled to last through Friday. The Board of Education is set to discuss the district's mask mandate at its meeting tomorrow. Right now, masks are currently optional. And finally, a heads up for drivers in New Hanover County. Work is expected to begin this morning on a railroad crossing near Highway 421 and is expected to cause some lane closures. CSX will be performing repairs in the northbound and southbound lanes of U.S. Highway 421 near the New Hanover County Recycling Center. There will be a detour for those trying to access the landfill and recycling center. Construction is scheduled to end Friday. For more on these stories, head over to WWAYTV3.com. I'm Jeff Rivenbark. Have a great day.
Happy Monday, everybody. I'm WWAY meteorologist Ramel Carpenter with the Storm Track 3 forecast. Cloudy start to the day out there across the Cape Fear, but those clouds will make way for some sunshine and certainly some temperatures that are much cooler than normal. We're going to be in the upper 40s for most of the afternoon, despite the sunny skies. And then heading into the overnight hours, clear skies. Going to set us up for a cold night as our temperatures drop all the way down into the middle and the upper 20s. Get your full forecast on WWAY and WWAYTV3.com.
This news and weather is brought to you by Two Men and a Truck. For your free quote, go to twomenandatruck.com. twomenandatruck.com. Do you or someone you love suffer from back pain, poor circulation, or struggle to get a good night's sleep? Do you just need help getting into or out of your chair? US Med Express is Wilmington's leading supplier of Golden Technology lift and sleep chairs, carrying a variety of models in our showroom at 1733 Dawson Street. Our chairs lead the industry in power lift recliner features and advances in technology. Our chairs are FDA certified as medical devices, which means it's 100% tax deductible and helps with a number of medical conditions, including arthritis, poor circulation, and sleep apnea. Give us a call today at 910-500-6162 or stop by and experience our chairs for yourself at 1733 Dawson Street. That's 910-500-6162. 1733 Dawson Street in Wilmington. US Med Express. Listen to Tom Goolsby on The Chad Adams Show.
People with common sense know that the entire theory of socialism is one big lie.
The Big Talker 106.7 FM. Keeping Holden Beach informed. The Big Talker 106.7.
There we go. Me and the computer having a bit of a discussion right now. No piece of junk. Giving me a hard time. Don't you dare, baby. I own this thing, don't you understand? That's what I thought. Man. Giving me grief. Can't believe that. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Anyway, I remember Andrew Donaldson and M. Carpenter speaking about this the other day, and well, I found the original article. Them's fighting words, the First Amendment and incitement. Not excitement, incitement. The limitations on the First Amendment, freedom of speech, come up again and again in our discourse. It is widely recognized that there are limitations on this right, though the boundaries are in dispute. Some people believe hate speech, racist or bigoted speech, should be an exception. Others trot out the cliched yelling fire in a crowded theater trope as support for punishing words as they see creating real harm. The debate is raging again. In the wake of the events at the Capitol last week, some attribute liability to the president and his supporters in power, particularly Ted Cruz and Josh Hawley, for encouraging the violent disruption of government that took place. Others blame QAnon adherents and other self-proclaimed patriots who whipped themselves and their comrades into a frenzy online. Others maintain that no speech at all is to blame, only the decisions of individuals. While some angrily demand prosecution of those who most vocally encouraged the actions that took place, still others cite First Amendment freedoms as a shield. Who is correct? There is guidance, however murky, from our Supreme Court. Keep in mind, M is a lawyer, so here's where, like, smart people can talk about the stuff they're smart about. Modern First Amendment jurisprudence starts in 1919 with Schenck versus U.S., from whence the crowded theater maxim came. Mr. Schenck was a member of a socialist organization which put out a publication urging enlisted and drafted men to defy their orders. Schenck was charged with conspiracy to espionage and related crimes. He appealed his convictions based on First Amendment protections and lost before a 9-0 court. The court held that speech that creates a clear and present danger that the government has a right to prevent is not protected. Said Justin Holmes in his famous line, "The most stringent protection of free speech would not protect a man in falsely shouting fire in a theater and causing a panic. It does not even protect a man from an injunction against uttering words that may have all the effect of force." Schenck was strengthened in 1927 by Whitney versus California, in which the court upheld a state statute that criminalized speech that undermines the public welfare by inciting criminal activity, disturbing the peace, or advocating the violent overthrow of the government. Justice Brandeis wrote a notable concurrence in which he partially rejected the clear and present danger test formulated in Schenck and applied in Whitney. Justice Brandeis opined that the danger must be imminent in a strict sense of the word, with no time to expose through discussion the falsehood and fallacies to avert the evil by the processes of education. Succinctly, he stated only an emergency can justify suppression. We've used that before. Schenck has never been overturned, but it has been tempered in the centuries since. In Brandenburg versus Ohio in 1969, the conviction of a KKK leader who, in addition to other unrepeatable invective, stated at a rally in Ohio, "We're not a revengeant organization, but if our president, our Congress, our Supreme Court continues to suppress the white Caucasian race, it's possible that there might have to be some revengeance taken. We are marching on Congress July the 4th, 400,000 strong." Brandenburg's conviction was under a statute substantially similar to that of California in Whitney. However, the court explicitly overturned Whitney. We are here confronted with a statute which, by its own words and as applies, purports to punish mere advocacy and to forbid, on pain of criminal punishment, assembly with others, merely to advocate the described type of action. Such a statute falls within the condemnation of the First and 14th Amendments. The contrary teaching of Whitney v. California Supra cannot be supported, and that decision is therefore overruled. The Brandenburg court went on to establish the test of imminent lawless action, similar to what Brandeis advocated in his Whitney concurrence. The court has had opportunity to apply the Brandenburg test in the ensuing 50 years. In Hess versus Indiana in 1973, Hess, an anti-war demonstrator, was convicted of disorderly conduct for stating, "We'll take the fucking street again," at a campus protest. For context, his statement was alleged to have occurred following law enforcement having succeeded in moving the protesters off the street to allow vehicles to proceed unobstructed. The trial court found that Hess's words were intended to and likely to incite further illegal action by the attending crowd of retaking the just cleared street. The Supreme Court ultimately reversed, holding that Hess's words at worst accounted to nothing more than advocacy of illegal action at some indefinite future time. Brandenburg is where we are today, and where we must start in determining whether those individuals who appear to have advocated the events that occurred at the Capitol on January 6, 2021 are criminally liable. Let's start at the bottom and work our way up. First, the very online QAnon faithful who have spent the better part of 4 years working themselves into a righteous frenzy over the cannibalistic pedophiles they believe to make up most of Congress and devoting themselves to the worship of Donald Trump under the guise of patriotism. They've long awaited the storm, that moment when the plan is revealed to all and the public tribunals and executions begin. Their de facto leader, Q, remains unidentified, and in fact his/her cryptic periodic messages, or Q drops, are so vague that I don't think any case could be made for holding whoever runs the Q account liable for anything. Running a cult is not a crime, after all, not in and of itself. The adherents have been largely self-directed on this path in a sort of mass hysteria. If there is any one Q personality who has emerged as a known leader of the group, or who can be pinpointed as the ringleader of the swarm in Washington, I am unaware. The various social media platforms have been replete with individuals exhorting like-minded folks to take action, to show the Dems, the left, Nancy Pelosi, that they won't tolerate the subversion of Trump's victory. The call to march on Washington in and of itself is nothing. Marching on Washington is the most American thing imaginable. Taking into consideration the eminence requirements set forth by Brandenburg, one would be hard-pressed to establish a case for inciting violence based on tweets leading up to January 6th. Moving slightly up the chain to Cruz and Hawley and their ilk, things don't change much. While certainly they wield more influence than MAGA Patriot 814-33054, they managed to couch their rhetoric in a way that is far more from an obvious call to illegal action, let alone a specific call for violence. While an argument could be made that they know better, and perhaps should be held to a higher standard in terms of freedom of speech protections, we err on the side of protection. And now, what about Trump? Our leader for the time being then, because this was written a while ago, whether we like it or not, stood in front of the revved-up crowd that day just down the street from the Capitol and implored them to march down there to take back our country, show strength, be strong. And so they went, likely feeling as though their aims had been sanctioned by their hero and leader. They went right after he gave the order. It doesn't get much more imminent than immediate action. So it's incitement, right? Brandenburg is satisfied, isn't it? Well, what exactly did he tell them to do? Walk down there, he said. Show them strength. Take back our country. Words that no doubt gave more than a few people listening the resolve to do what they then did. But it is more important to note that he did not say go in the Capitol. He didn't say get in there and break things, steal things, terrorize members of Congress. It is quite fairly argued that he didn't say those things because he knew he didn't have to. That he should have known and probably did know what a powder keg he was lighting with his words. No one can seriously suggest that Trump was unaware of the rhetoric online or the overzealousness of his supporters. He is much too online for that. But again, this is the First Amendment we are analyzing. Combined with the reasonable doubt requirement of a criminal conviction in prosecuting Trump for his words that day becomes a very tall order, in my opinion. This is not to say his words and actions and those of Cruz and Hawley weren't repugnant, contemptible, deserving of any political and social consequences that may follow. but they probably managed to just tiptoe the line of criminal without crossing. It is reasonable to argue that their rhetoric is to blame for what occurred, but moral blame is not the same as criminal liability. Free speech is not absolute, but it is pretty darn near. Finally, let's address the issue of social media deplatforming. Trump lost his Twitter account, and now many others of a conservative stripe has been suspended. Then, Apple and Google Play took Parler, the MAGA-dominant Twitter competitor, out of their app stores because of a lack of moderation, allowing explicit threats of violence on the platform. Personally, I disagree with their actions on principle. Silencing these voices does not change their opinions or stop their actions, but it does make them harder to trace. I suppose there is an argument for preventing a spreading of dangerous thoughts and suggestions to others vulnerable to influence, but that is a precedent we should be very careful about setting. In any event, Google, Apple, and Twitter are not our government, no matter how much Jack Dorsey may want to be an overlord. It is not First Amendment censorship. Seeing our capital in peril was frightening to many. Certain things are sacred to Americans. The Capitol is one of these things. The First Amendment is another. Yeah. Interesting take on it, where a lot of people don't agree with what was said. A lot of people are trying to defend the fact that he's allowed to say what you're allowed to say. Apparently, the limits of good consciousness and good taste have, fallen by the wayside. For me, getting back to education, where we learn how not to be a jerk to each other, because that's who we are. You know what? Just for fun, I'm going to see if this works still. I am building this for other people to come after me. So, quick break. We'll be back.
Keeping Holden Beach informed. The Big Talker 106.7 FM WFBT, Carolina Beach.
When I tell people I'm a collision repair technician, they usually say, "Can I get your number?" Sooner or later, they're going to need me. I'm the guy who you call when you had a fender bender, who takes your mangled car and brings it back to its former glory. I absolutely love what I do. I trained at CFCC and had job offers waiting on me when I finished. I make great money and can work anywhere. People rely on me. That's a good feeling. I got my start at CFCC, and you can too. Visit cfcc.edu/trades and get started today.
Here's 1 minute of tree knowledge in 30 seconds with K.O. Davis.
It's important that you have somebody, a trained professional, to trim your trees. There are these guys out there that just hack trees, and that's the worst thing in the world that you can do. Don't let somebody hat rack your trees. That's a tree term for hat rack. You know how they just cut a tree and it looks like it's just got like a hat rack? These guys just go up and just cut the trees off, and they don't cut it back to the proper spot. Call us, because we care about your trees.
Visit KO's coasttocoasttree.com.
Don't let some yahoo hat rack your trees.
Hello, I'm Jeff Rivenbark with WWAY News. Hospitals are trying to save the lives of multiple people gravely injured by inhaling smoke in a fire that is already New York City's deadliest in 3 decades. Dozens of people were hospitalized yesterday, and as many as 13 were in critical condition after the blaze, which killed 19 people. Investigators determined that a malfunctioning electric space heater started the fire in the 19-story building. Authorities say 9 of the dead were children. A comedian and actor best known for his role in the sitcom Full House has died. Bob Saget was 65. The Orange County, Florida Sheriff's Office says it was called yesterday about an unresponsive man and found Saget dead in a hotel room at the Ritz-Carlton in Orlando. Detectives found no signs of foul play or drug use. Saget was in Florida as part of his I Don't Do Negative comedy tour. Saget was also the longtime host of America's Funniest Home Videos and the narrator of How I Met Your Mother. Back in the Cape Fear, 2 Bladen County high schools will be going remote this week due to staffing issues caused by COVID-19. Starting today, West Bladen and East Bladen high schools will transition to remote learning due to positive COVID-19 cases and exposures. Remote learning is scheduled to last through Friday. The Board of Education is set to discuss the district's mask mandate at its meeting tomorrow. Right now, masks are currently optional. And finally, a heads up for drivers in New Hanover County. Work is expected to begin this morning on a railroad crossing near Highway 421 and is expected to cause some lane closures. CSX will be performing repairs in the northbound and southbound lanes of U.S. Highway 421 near the New Hanover County Recycling Center. There will be a detour for those trying to access the landfill and recycling center. Construction is scheduled to end Friday. For more on these stories, head over to WWAYTV3.com. I'm Jeff Rivenbark. Have a great day.
Happy Monday, everybody. I'm WWAY meteorologist Ramel Carpenter with the Storm Track 3 forecast. Cloudy start to the day out there across the Cape Fear, but those clouds will make way for some sunshine and certainly some temperatures that are much cooler than normal. We're going to be in the upper 40s for most of the afternoon, despite the sunny skies. And then heading into the overnight hours, clear skies. Going to set us up for a cold night as our temperatures drop all the way down into the middle and the upper 20s. Get your full forecast on WWAY and WWAYTV3.com.
This news and weather is brought to you by Two Men and a Truck. For your free quote, go to twomenandatruck.com. twomenandatruck.com.
Folks, we all know ongoing road construction and traffic can weigh heavy on your vehicle. Since 2006, O'Leary's Automotive Repair has provided comprehensive repair services at affordable prices to get you back on the road in no time. Their ASE certified technicians will help you find a cost-effective repair and maintenance alternatives. O'Leary's has multiple locations in the area in Hampstead, Leland, the Myrtle Grove area, Ogden, and Wrightsboro. O'Leary's Automotive Repair, a trusted, locally owned business since 2006.
Hey everyone, Ben Hawkins here with Cross Country Mortgage. Rates are still at historic lows, and there has never been a better time to purchase your dream home or refinance your existing. With over 300 loan products including conventional, FHA, VA, USDA, renovation, and jumbo, we are certain we have the right loan product for you and your family. Call me today to be pre-qualified to make the offer on your next dream home. 910-352-3373 or visit my website at lendwithben.com.
If you want to talk about culture and politics without all the caterwauling, then you'll love Hertel Radio with me, your host, Andrew Donaldson, every weekday morning, 6 a.m. with a replay at 3 p.m. right here on the Big Talker. Catch it on the Listen Live tab on the app or watch on the Facebook page.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, this is my attempt to culture you swine. Some of the best music released long before many of you were born. Back when ugly people could make music, and it was more beautiful than you could ever imagine. And now we're stuck with things like Britney and Jessica. Sorry, none of that stuff is serious. So, another interesting development on the side. The exposure of the Indian police and government as to the scam call centers that have been busted over the last couple of years. Apparently, it's just a display. It's a feel-good thing. There's never actually been any arrests made. There has been no fines. There's been no shutdown. In fact, it was discovered the police department is dependent on these scammer call centers for income. It's like extortion, but under a different word. I think it's like supporting your local police. So if you get a call and it's the IRS or the Social Security Administration or Microsoft or Amazon, Believe me, man, they do not call you. They do not care about you. So, if some major mega company calls you with a very heavy Indian accent, chances are they're trying to scam you. And just like disinformation, one of the best ways to combat this type of scamming is to ask simple questions. For example, I love when they call me and say, hey, we can help with your credit card. I said, okay, which one? Well, give us the number. No. You called me. If you don't have the number, you're full of crap. And get off my phone. And the more of us that can do that, the smaller and smaller those phone lists, because they buy these phone lists for thousands of dollars. And if you're gullible enough to end up on that thing and actually answer the phone and act like a human, no. We need to rip into these people. We need to waste their time. We need to let them know that we do not tolerate this type of crap. But we have to do it ourselves. It's the whole buyer beware thing, right? If you get scammed, it's your fault. That's all there is to it. So you, as a consumer, needs to learn how to not get scammed. But that's kind of a hard thing to do if you can't recognize a scam. So I will say there are lots and lots and lots of classes and courses and experts and websites to help you identify scams. But some of the simple ones are if a big company such as Amazon is asking for Google or Apple cards, or if Microsoft or the Social Security wants you to pay with gift cards. Come on, the education system in America cannot be that pathetic. If you can't figure out that gift cards are not a way to pay off a debt, public or private, then you deserve to get scammed. That's all there is to it. But it's not a problem, is it? No. I mean, y'all need to understand these scammers are making billions of dollars off of the United States alone because we answer and actually fall for these calls. Mostly the older elderly, the folk that never set the VCR blinky 12. They just accepted the technology and didn't bother to learn the technology, what's behind it, what's involved, and what the dangers and caveats are. So yes, buyer beware, but at the same time, we can help each other out by pointing out, hey, if you're getting scammed, you're getting scammed. And if you're not sure, hang up and call somebody and say, hey, there's this guy talking to me and I'm not sure what's going on. You know what? I can do a conference call. Let me call my buddy here and see if we can't get to the bottom of this. So you're saying that the IRS is going to come and arrest me at my house because I owe them some money. But if I run and get a bunch of gift cards, I can pay it off and avoid the police coming to arrest me. This is how fear can control and damage you far beyond what you're capable of doing. Fear can get you to do things like give up your money, give up your bank accounts, or, in the case of one guy, ship thousands upon thousands of dollars in a cardboard box to somebody they don't know because they've been terrified into thinking they've been compromised and they're going to lose everything if they don't put all their money in a box and ship it somewhere else. This particular story was in the UK, and because of how their laws are set up a little bit different than us, it took a long time for them to finally come together and find the money mule and track this down and get the person back their money. The entire time, the gentleman who sent the money was angry that people were interfering with his ability to try and save his money. Of course, when he was arrested for sending that much cash through the post office and was, arrested for that, did it kind of come together that it's like, ooh, well, maybe this was a scam. But he was mad at the police. He was mad at the guy trying to stop the scam. He was mad at everybody for trying to prevent him from giving his money to scammers in India. Billions of dollars every year just because we don't have the critical thinking skills strong enough to not get scammed by this type of people. We just don't have the common intelligence among us to say, hey, that just doesn't sound right. Because the basics, All Things Brunswick had a guest, and I believe Justin Humphreys from Objection to the Forum also had a guest speaking specifically to scams. And their initial thing, their whole thing, if you're not sure if it's a scam, first, how big is the company and how small are you? Amazon is not going to call you directly. It's just not going to happen. There's a million ways for them to contact you. Directly by phone is not one of them. So if you would receive a call and talk about your social security number to be suspended, no. They don't suspend your social security number. And the SS did not send law enforcement. We send the federal police to your house. No, not happening. Fight back with these guys. Call them names. If anybody deserves to be called names, it's these guys. Do not come into my country with that type of crap. Even by phone. Right? And if you get a message that's being read in a computer voice and it's not even proper English, complete sentences, mismatched verb and noun tenses and plurals, etc., just little things, chances are it's not who you think it is. Another thing you can do is when you get a number, hey, call this number, Google the number before you dial the number. And you would be amazed at how many of these numbers have already been attributed to scammers and hackers long before you ever got that message. Because, again, they're calling 150,000 people a day. That's their outbound. Jim Browning, I think, is one. Pierogi is another one. Scambaiter is another one. There's a whole list of channels of people that are busting scammers because they have a skill set that I am very jealous of to dial into another person's computer in India and erase everything so that all the credit card numbers that they have accumulated, all the account numbers they've accumulated, all the phone numbers, all the personal names and addresses, all get erased. And it's just a dent. Like when you see a newspaper report where they have a whole call center sitting outside, who busted a call center. So the real story is when that picture is over and everybody's done shaking hands, they go right back to work. Literally, like go back in the Genesis building, go back up to the 11th floor and start calling Americans and scamming them again. That's your job. That is your job. And if you don't do this, we'll kill your parents or your kids or something like that. It's absolutely out of control. And the only way to combat it is to make it not profitable for them. And the way you do that is you waste as much of their time as you possibly can. Knowing it's a scam. And when they get upset, they go, yeah, come and get me. Come on, you know so much. You're so cool. Over there in Kolkata. Come get me. Bring the law enforcement that you're threatening. Go ahead. Because it's a scam. You know it. I know it. And I'm sorry about the economic conditions in India, but at no time is it proper to do this type of illegal work to pay for food. At least in North Korea, they can get you sweeping and rearranging rocks, and you still get to eat. May not eat well, but at least you got something to do, and you got something to eat. from scammers to apartment fires. We cover it all right here. Right here on the Big Talker Online. Top of the hour, we're going to take a news break, grab some more stories, and we'll be right back with you.
Keeping Holden Beach informed. The Big Talker 106.7 FM WFBT, Carolina Beach.
When I tell people I'm a collision repair technician, they usually say, "Can I get your number?" Sooner or later, they're going to need me. I'm the guy who you call when you had a fender bender, who takes your mangled car and brings it back to its former glory. I absolutely love what I do. I trained at CFCC and had job offers waiting on me when I finished. I make great money and can work anywhere. People rely on me. That's a good feeling. I got my start at CFCC, and you can too. Visit cfcc.edu/trades and get started today.
Here's 1 minute of tree knowledge in 30 seconds with K.O. Davis.
It's important that you have somebody, a trained professional, to trim your trees. There are these guys out there that just hack trees, and that's the worst thing in the world that you can do. Don't let somebody hat rack your trees. That's a tree term for hat rack. You know how they just cut a tree and it looks like it's just got like a hat rack? These guys just go up and just cut the trees off, and they don't cut it back to the proper spot. Call us, because we care about your trees.
Visit KO's coasttocoasttree.com.
Don't let some yahoo hat rack your trees.
Hello, I'm Jeff Rivenbark with WWAY News. Hospitals are trying to save the lives of multiple people gravely injured by inhaling smoke in a fire that is already New York City's deadliest in 3 decades. Dozens of people were hospitalized yesterday, and as many as 13 were in critical condition after the blaze, which killed 19 people. Investigators determined that a malfunctioning electric space heater started the fire in the 19-story building. Authorities say 9 of the dead were children. A comedian and actor best known for his role in the sitcom Full House has died. Bob Saget was 65. The Orange County, Florida Sheriff's Office says it was called yesterday about an unresponsive man and found Saget dead in a hotel room at the Ritz-Carlton in Orlando. Detectives found no signs of foul play or drug use. Saget was in Florida as part of his I Don't Do Negative comedy tour. Saget was also the longtime host of America's Funniest Home Videos and the narrator of How I Met Your Mother. Back in the Cape Fear, 2 Bladen County high schools will be going remote this week due to staffing issues caused by COVID-19. Starting today, West Bladen and East Bladen high schools will transition to remote learning due to positive COVID-19 cases and exposures. Remote learning is scheduled to last through Friday. The Board of Education is set to discuss the district's mask mandate at its meeting tomorrow. Right now, masks are currently optional. And finally, a heads up for drivers in New Hanover County. Work is expected to begin this morning on a railroad crossing near Highway 421 and is expected to cause some lane closures. CSX will be performing repairs in the northbound and southbound lanes of U.S. Highway 421 near the New Hanover County Recycling Center. There will be a detour for those trying to access the landfill and recycling center. Construction is scheduled to end Friday. For more on these stories, head over to WWAYTV3.com. I'm Jeff Rivenbark. Have a great day.
Happy Monday, everybody. I'm WWAY meteorologist Ramel Carpenter with the Storm Track 3 forecast. Cloudy start to the day out there across the Cape Fear, but those clouds will make way for some sunshine and certainly some temperatures that are much cooler than normal. We're going to be in the upper 40s for most of the afternoon, despite the sunny skies. And then heading into the overnight hours, clear skies. Going to set us up for a cold night as our temperatures drop all the way down into the middle and the upper 20s. Get your full forecast on WWAY and WWAYTV3.com.
This news and weather is brought to you by 2 Men and a Truck. For your free quote, go to 2menandatruck.com. 2menandatruck.com.
Folks, we all know ongoing road construction and traffic can weigh heavy on your vehicle. Since 2006, O'Leary's Automotive Repair has provided comprehensive repair services at affordable prices to get you back on the road in no time. Their ASE certified technicians will help you find a cost-effective repair and maintenance alternatives. O'Leary's has multiple locations in the area in Hampstead, Leland, the Myrtle Grove area, Ogden, and Wrightsboro. O'Leary's Automotive Repair, a trusted, locally owned business since 2006.
Hey everyone, Ben Hawkins here with Cross Country Mortgage. Rates are still at historic lows, and there has never been a better time to purchase your dream home or refinance your existing. With over 300 loan products including conventional, FHA, VA, USDA, renovation, and jumbo, we are certain we have the right loan product for you and your family. Call me today to be pre-qualified to make the offer on your next dream home. 910-352-3373 or visit my website at lendwithben.com.
If you want to talk about culture and politics without all the caterwauling, then you'll love Hertel Radio with me, your host, Andrew Donaldson, every weekday morning, 6 a.m. with a replay at 3 p.m. right here on the Big Talker. Catch it on the Listen Live tab on the app or watch on the Facebook page.
Hey, it's time to get up. Come on, it's Monday, 8 o'clock. Get up out of bed. Get your coffee, get your juice, get your water, get your toast, and whatever it is you need to get through this Monday. That's right. And a heavy Monday it is. Nothing in our news is exciting or supporting or encouraging. Fires in New York, long COVID issues. Oh, man. It's hard to find a reason to get up out of bed on a Monday, isn't it? Scammers, hackers, Russia, China. None of it's good. And as my boss pointed out, I'm not always doom and gloom, but man, it's hard to find a good news story at all. It doesn't sell carpets or cars. How about more development? Yeah, that's what we need. Let's put some more Stack-a-Shack condo buildings. Let's just put them around. Block out everything that's beautiful about our city. Like, who needs to see a sunrise when we can put a beautiful building right in front of you in the sunrise so that no matter where you are in Wilmington, North Carolina, you will never see the sunrise again. You will see a silhouette of the sunrise as viewed through somebody else's apartment building. That's taller than the building that you're in, so you still won't see the sun until sometime around 1 in the afternoon. Or when the sun sets, the sunset won't set against the golden hills and the clean water. No, it'll set upon the latest development, Stack-a-Shack money-making swampland. Yeah, that's in my opinion just not a good move. There's lots of housing and lots of other opportunities. Of course, none of these are affordable and none of these are sustainable. They're all just wowzer-looking stuff with facades that are going to crumble in the next 3 years due to no maintenance because all the money is going into pockets and not into people. No real plan. You can see that from most of the buildings we already have. And it's the private companies that are trying to maintain it. For example, the building that I was once in, over 100 years old, it's a private investment in private everything. And yet they can't get the water to the 10th floor. They can't get the elevators to work consistently for more than a week at a time. Huge chunks of rock or whatever it was, marble, had fallen off the building previously, and they didn't want to spend the money to fix it because, well, it just wasn't worth it. And they wonder why the building is less than a third occupied. But this is true for a lot of how we do things. We build it all nice and neat and new, and then we walk away. It's happened in Louisville, one of the funniest things I thought possible. So, rich family decided they wanted to donate something to the city to, minimize their tax liability. So they donated this colorful fountain to the city of Louisville, Kentucky, to put into the middle of the river, to blow water into the sky, light it up with colors, and call it a tourist attraction or something. I don't know. But they, the city bought it. The city, sure. Instead of paying taxes, you can give us this $1 million piece of crap and throw it in the river, and it'll blow lights and water into the sky. And then nobody bothered to take care of it because that $1 million gift came with $1 million a year price tag for maintenance and care. And, you want to make sure the boats don't get caught on it. You want to make sure that it's, functioning. And nobody bothered to do that. They had like one guy that dove down there like every couple of months, and the lights started going out, the pumps started going out, it'd get hit by things, and nobody took care of it. And within a couple of years, literally no good came from the millions of dollars that family spent to put that fountain in the middle of the Ohio River, and got nothing out of it. Didn't even bother to book in some money. That when they turned it over, it was the city that was going to pay for the maintenance. Unfortunately, the city didn't have the money to pay for the maintenance and didn't even bother to schedule for it. But this family, instead of paying their taxes, were able to buy this toy, throw it in the river, and at an overvalued price, or whatever you want to call it, they were able to reduce their tax liability and not pay taxes because they gave the city a toy. A broken toy, a toy that had no future. Let's do that here in Wilmington. Yeah, let's put up more stack of shacks that have to be closed, just like the ones that are on Water Street, right behind the Murkison building. Before they had even finished moving people in, they found mold problems and had to take everybody out so that they could fix the mold problems. Because nobody's paying attention to how this stuff is being built. Yet there are houses standing empty that are incredibly overpriced that families could be using right now to solve their own housing crisis. But right now, used cars are going for the cost of a small house. So none of this is making sense. We have turned our values upside down, not just our moral and personal values, ethics and such, but we turned the values of what people need into, much like epinephrine pens, EpiPens, right? From $60 to $6,000 or whatever it was. I mean, come on, people. If we're going to capitalize on something, let's capitalize on the disposable, right? Are people disposable? I guess so, because that's what we're capitalizing on. Housing is disposable? Why not? People are disposable, aren't they? Oh, wait, we can't call them people. If we call them constituents, then they can be handled appropriately, because then they are less important than profits. They are less important than returns for the board of directors of any given large company, who are given lots and lots of tax breaks to come into a city, bringing and taking and making lots of money, but not actually paying any. This is due to us electing who we do into what we do. So if you hire a real estate developer as the mayor of your city, guess what's going to happen to your city? It's going to be overdeveloped. It's going to encourage overdevelopment. It's going to encourage bloated housing prices. It's going to encourage more and more problems for people that can't afford this. Much like the banks charging overdraft fees and overdraft fees, whatever else, from people that are struggling. So if you thought you had that extra $5 in there, but it took $6 to pay for the bank account in the first place, so your rent check is $5 short, it bounces. So now you're out your rent check plus the $35 that's being added to your account every single day that you're behind or don't have money, that they're stealing somewhere in the neighborhood of $60 billion a year on people that don't have money. This is who we are. People are disposable. Constituents are disposable. People in need are disposable. Only the cute ones that make money and sell real estate, those are the ones that we want. We don't care about the mechanics keeping the cars running, or the plumbers, or the PUA techs keeping all these stuff flowing that we don't want backed up into our houses, right? These are not the important people. The important people are the ones who wear suits. I think one of my favorite memes is men in blue jeans built this country. Men in suits are going to destroy it. And that's sort of how it goes. Right? I mean, from top to bottom, you can look at it inside just about any city council. We did this to ourselves. This is us voting for those people because we are not bothered to look into what's going on, who's doing what, and why. No, we'll just pay for another stack of shack to go up and cull the profits from that, and then find a way to hide those profits so we don't have to pay taxes on it. So the little people that are working in the restaurants or working in the garages or working in wherever on your day-to-days, right? Getting gas into your car, getting the tires changed on your car, making sure that you have ham and vegetables and bread in the store. All of these people are going to get taxed out of their livelihoods, being paid as little as possible, and yet the ones who are making the money are able to just, oh, I paid $700. That makes me smart to not pay taxes. How a corporation can be considered a person in terms of the law doesn't make any sense to me. If you're a corporation and you do damage, your corporation should be held to account. But again, these are not things that I understand. I understand electrons. I understand audio. I understand IP, IT, and other things such as that. And which is why it's unfortunate on this day of days that most of the people that I would love to have in to talk with are all running fevers right now. So, being the one guy 60 miles outside of town who hasn't been damaged by all of this, my throat's starting to give out because I have no one to talk to. So with that, I'm going to take a quick break, pop a lozenge, get a soda, and I'll be right back. On the Asylum, on the Big Talker Online. Oh, yeah.
Hello, I'm Jeff Rivenbark with WWAY News. Hospitals are trying to save the lives of multiple people gravely injured by inhaling smoke in a fire that is already New York City's deadliest in 3 decades. Dozens of people were hospitalized yesterday, and as many as 13 were in critical condition after the blaze, which killed 19 people. Investigators determined that a malfunctioning electric space heater started the fire in the 19-story building. Authorities say 9 of the dead were children. A comedian and actor best known for his role in the sitcom Full House has died. Bob Saget was 65. The Orange County, Florida Sheriff's Office says it was called yesterday about an unresponsive man and found Saget dead in a hotel room at the Ritz-Carlton in Orlando. Detectives found no signs of foul play or drug use. Saget was in Florida as part of his I Don't Do Negative comedy tour. Saget was also the longtime host of America's Funniest Home Videos and the narrator of How I Met Your Mother. Back in the Cape Fear, 2 Bladen County high schools will be going remote this week due to staffing issues caused by COVID-19. Starting today, West Bladen and East Bladen high schools will transition to remote learning due to positive COVID-19 cases and exposures. Remote learning is scheduled to last through Friday. The Board of Education is set to discuss the district's mask mandate at its meeting tomorrow. Right now, masks are currently optional. And finally, a heads up for drivers in New Hanover County. Work is expected to begin this morning on a railroad crossing near Highway 421 and is expected to cause some lane closures. CSX will be performing repairs in the northbound and southbound lanes of U.S. Highway 421 near the New Hanover County Recycling Center. There will be a detour for those trying to access the landfill and recycling center. Construction is scheduled to end Friday. For more on these stories, head over to WWAYTV3.com. I'm Jeff Rivenbark. Have a great day.
Happy Monday, everybody. I'm WWAY meteorologist Ramel Carpenter with the Storm Track 3 forecast. Cloudy start to the day out there across the Cape Fear, but those clouds will make way for some sunshine and certainly some temperatures that are much cooler than normal. We're going to be in the upper 40s for most of the afternoon, despite the sunny skies, and then heading into the overnight hours, clear skies. Going to set us up for a cold night as our temperatures drop all the way down into the middle and the upper 20s. Get your full forecast on WWAY and WWAYTV3.com.
This news and weather is brought to you by Two Men and a Truck. For your free quote, go to twomenandatruck.com. twomenandatruck.com.
Hi, this is Justin Humphreys from the Humphreys Law Firm on Eastwood Road. The Humphreys Law Firm is located in Lumina Station, Wilmington, North Carolina, practices civil litigation, intellectual property, commercial, and residential real estate. Please give us a call at 910-332-0721 or visit us on our website, which is www.humphreysfirm.law. You can also listen to me every Thursday from 6 to 7 p.m. on the Big Talker 106.7 FM.
Hey everyone, Ben Hawkins here with Cross Country Mortgage. Rates are still at historic lows, and there has never been a better time to purchase your dream home or refinance your existing. With over 300 loan products including conventional, FHA, VA, USDA, renovation, and jumbo, we are certain we have the right loan product for you and your family. Call me today to be pre-qualified to make the offer on your next dream home. 910-352-3373 or visit my website at lendwithben.com.
Listen to Tom Goolsby on The Chad Adams Show.
People with common sense know that the entire theory of socialism is one big lie.
The Big Talker 106.7 FM.
Oh, yeah. Welcome back to Monday. We haven't gone anywhere yet. On the Asylum on the Big Talker Online, big thanks to our sponsors and supporters, including Joe Hunting, the professor of the Financial Wisdom for Today course being taught at Brunswick Community College, brunswickcc.edu. He has classes filling up starting, I guess, Wednesday. He has a morning class and an evening. This class is filling up quick. Don't worry. He has another in March and another in April. You get $100,000 just for signing up for the class. Yes, that's right, ladies and gentlemen. $100,000 to use in the class to learn how money works, how the stock market works. And Joe is one of these smart guys that he's even, totally legit, been doing this for 20 years, had gone through the Securities Exchange Commission. They have to go through a course, take a test, just so that they can talk to regular people, humans, civilians such as you and I, about how the stock market works, to make sure that we don't, make sure that there's no Bernie Madoff pyramid Ponzi stuff going on. Just the facts on how the stock works, theories and approaches, and you learn about the Fed, you learn about mortgages, you learn the advantages of credit, when to have credit, when not to use credit, and basically how to prepare so that down the road when food gets more expensive, you have the money to pay for it so that you can maintain a lifestyle similar to the one you have now and maybe even improve as you get down the road, because believe me, when you're 70 years old, ramen noodles are not as much fun as they were when you were 19. Again, that's brunswickcc.edu. The course is Financial Wisdom for Today. All the education on how money works that they won't give you in school. Because obviously, we don't want you to be smart and financially aware, financially educated. So, yeah, that's how they do it. They keep you ignorant. That's how we do it. And of course, Joe Hunting's support of the Big Talker Online, providing us with the internet service that allows us to get to your ear holes. It's a pretty big deal, I think. And I know a lot of people going to take that course and probably come out way further ahead than the rest of us. So soon, we should have some, I don't know, other things happening. Sorry, lots of people trying to bother me while I'm in the middle of my job. I may not be good at it, but I need to concentrate on it, at least. Doing what I can with what I got. All of it is stolen. I should say all of it was stolen. Eventually, I was given some permissions. And since then, I've been working on it a little bit every day. And now it's probably the cleanest and most efficient it has been in years, at least 4 or 5 years. I have redundancy, I have IFBs, I have all kinds of things set up, running in the background, just to make my life easier, so that I don't have to drive 50 miles, 60 miles one way to go to a building downtown, run the gauntlet of homeless people asking me for $1 or a cigarette, while I'm paying through the nose for parking for a job that barely pays me enough to drive downtown to park. Very grateful I get to do this out of my house. Very grateful for the Heard Tell radio program heard at 6 o'clock every morning. Andrew, I hope you're feeling better. It's been a hell of a couple of weeks for you, I understand. I mean, with the holidays and everything else, and the man is still cranking out incredible episodes of Heard Tell at 6 o'clock every morning, 3 o'clock afternoon, with a live stream on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter, available all day long. In today's episode, today's offering of Heard Tell is a personal experience on long COVID. And I believe we've had, for example, I believe Tom Goolsby is suffering a mild form of long COVID, where he had the Delta variant and was quite sick for some time, and it's, some of the symptoms are still with him. Still coughs a little bit. That's going to be true. I mean, that's true of a lot of, like the scarring from chickenpox. These are things that just don't go away. You may get over the illness, but your body is going to remember. It's going to take or keep some sort of memento, if you will, a scar or a hack or a lower blood platelet count, or whatever it is. Just about every major illness is going to leave some sort of mark on your body, and you're going to have to live with it. That's how it works. I mean, that's what being sick is about. Same is true with the flu. Interestingly enough, my father was very much about getting the flu shot every year. Apparently lots of people were, which is why people just lined up at the CVS. They don't even go to your doctor anymore. It's just like, hey, it's flu time. Go get a flu shot. 'Cause that's who we are. We want, special magic bullets. We want the popcorn button. We don't want to have to read or learn or think. We just want to walk up, push a button, and feel better. And if it takes longer than 30 seconds, man, we get upset. Look at us at a stoplight. We can't even wait for the light to turn green. We can't even wait for the popcorn to finish popping before we rip it out. Irma Bombeck long ago wrote a little piece that I enjoyed very much, referring to the speed at which we handle our relationships. And she put an entire relationship into one stoplight. Boy meets girl at stoplight. Boy flirts with girl. Girl rejects boy. Light turns green. There is your divorce. No money changed hands. Nobody bought a house or lost a house, depending on which side of the Scrimmage line, you're on. But everything's disposable, from razors to people, entire groups of people. Lower income, higher income. Yeah, there's a disparity there. What I find interesting is a lot of that disparity is being drawn along racial lines when in fact it's along financial lines. That the more money these people make and the more involved they are in politics, the less important each one of us becomes, which is why the local elections are so important. These are the people who affect your life day to day. Who you elect is how your city is going to be run, how your county is going to be run, how your police department is going to be run, how your prosecutions are going to be run, how you are represented at the state level. That is all done at the local level. And the more we screw around and continue to elect people that don't know what they're doing or have no purpose doing this, we end up with entire panels. For example, my favorite example, the Women's Health Commission that didn't have a single woman on it, and not a single doctor was on it. They were all MBAs and lawyers. Not one of them was a doctor, not one of them was a woman, but the entire panel was women's health. Because that's who we elected. We are responsible for that. And it starts right in your own neighborhood. Yeah? It starts with the people down the street. Who's your district attorney? Who's your sheriff? And then we get all upset. I mean, there's every year, there's a beautiful story came out of my old homeland in New Mexico where the sheriff in Rio Arriba, I believe it was found to be brutally corrupt and actually part of the drug operation himself. But he had been elected the sheriff for the county over and over and over again. Like 8, 10, 12 years, and the man is making more money dealing drugs than he is as a sheriff. But the reason he's a sheriff is so that he can deal drugs without getting arrested. But because he was able to do some snappy little slogan and have a campy campaign and was out there kissing hands and shaking babies, and he got elected sheriff over and over again while dealing drugs to the very people that he's, really? Because we elected him. Nobody bothered to look into this guy. We just, hey, the sheriff. Hey, look, he's running for office again. He's a good guy. Yeah, he makes great meth. We should elect him again. A lot of people are not happy with our own district attorney in New Hanover County. I'm not really, I really can't say either way because I don't know. I didn't look, I didn't read. And that's my fault. So now that I live in a different county, it's a much smaller county, I can actually pay attention to some of these people and ask some people, hey, running through the fire guy. So, who's this dude on the ballot? Oh, yeah. Yeah, I've known him for a while. He and his wife, good people. They spend their Sunday afternoons helping kids or, whatever. Because these people are part of the community. The federal people, the people that, the excitement of the national election and our senators and representatives, they are so far removed from the regular people. They never pay for food. They never pay for transportation. They never pay for housing. They don't have to. But they're also given a salary. And then they get to work with people who can help them with their financial portfolios to come out way richer out of office than they did going into office. They get all kinds of benefits that you and I, the regular people, will never, ever see. They have health care they don't pay for that the rest of us could only dream of. If one of our representatives at the federal level gets sick with cancer or something, They are going to get the ultimate in world-class medical care at no cost, no copay at all, because we, the American taxpayers, are paying for that. However, if we get sick, for example, cancer, chances are it's going to bankrupt that family. Not just the person, the entire family. Or they can opt to go the old school route and just die and save their money. That's where we are. And we've become so jaded by this crap that I'll give you another example. Insurance agents, insurance company turned down a family whose daughter needed a prosthetic leg. It was just too expensive. So the high school robotics team got together and built her a leg. Now, I think that's a little messed up. I mean, it's a feel-good story that the kids came together. But the part we're leaving out is the dystopian nightmare where a child was left to fend for herself without a leg and had to be saved by other kids rather than a health program that's designed to, once you're born, you're on your own, you're screwed. Yeah, we're pro-birth, not pro-life. If we were pro-life, we would have a much more robust healthcare system. One accessible to everyone. Because if people are healthy, they are more productive. And hey, if you were to extend that all the way to education, then it might be possible that some of these underserved communities might actually produce the scientist that cures cancer, or at least understands it to the point that we have something to work with. And it won't bankrupt the next family when their father or mother or child gets cancer. That there's hope for them. Not a financial burden that's going to collapse their entire family, destroy everything, sell their house, and live in a car just for some medical treatment. You can go bankrupt, have to sell your car just to get an EpiPen to save somebody's life. So if a life is worth that much money, then there should be some way to sort of balance that scale. Yeah? And I'm not saying, defund anybody. What I am saying is let's be a little more mature about the funding we have. And let's not rely on charitable organizations to do the work that we ourselves should be doing for each other as it is. And that's everything from mental health to dental to vision, in addition to whole body health care. I mean, let's stop looking at it as constituent parts and look at it as a whole. A human is a whole being. Their eyeballs are as important to them as their toes. Right? So health care should cover mental health. It should cover vision. It should cover dental. And it should be a hell of a lot easier to deal with than the crap we have now with having to sign up through a web program. No. It should be that I have a Social Security number. And there should also be a much more robust triage type arrangement in the hospitals so that people who come into the emergency room trying to get stupid stuff in the emergency room are dealt with accordingly so that the emergency room is not overwhelmed. Simple things. There's a lot we can do to help ourselves, but instead we seem to get distracted and swept up in the mania that is the entertainment division of the military-industrial complex and think that our vote at the national level is going to do some sort of magical, when the fact is the prosecution of the criminals in our own neighborhood is something we control with our vote at the local level. This is the type of education that we are not given in school anymore. People being interviewed on the street, hey, have you read the Constitution? No, it's too long. It's about a 7-minute read. I'll even give you 12 if you have to look a couple of the words up. Even with the Bill of Rights. It's not that complicated. It's not that long. And yet we no longer read it in school. We no longer study it. Understand what's in our own political structure. And you want to talk about this CRT crap, man, just look at the whitewashing we've done to our own understanding of our own political structure. We have no idea how any of this works at a base level across our entire population. Since at least 1985, that's 15 plus 22, that's 37 years. That's an entire generation of students that were never educated on the Constitution or the Declaration of Independence. That's who we are. That's our education system. Instead of spending any money or implying that it's important to know what's in the Constitution, what's affected, and how we got here, we're just going to get more football uniforms. Or we're going to repaint the school. Or we're going to get the latest edition of the history books as printed by Funk and Wagnalls or whoever happens to do that stuff. I don't know. We the people, in order to form a more perfect union. That's about as far as anybody can get, myself included. Could have been a million years since I have read it. Hillsdale College will send you a copy. I think it's hillsdale.edu. It's available online. You just type in U.S. Constitution. Boom. We haven't read it ourselves. How are we going to discuss it? It's like discussing a movie you've never seen, but yet we do. Everybody is suddenly a rights expert. I know what's in the Constitution. I've never read it, but I know my rights. That's the brilliance of our education system right there. And this is why I have a hard time keeping a positive attitude when it comes to our future, and certainly the way our education is designed to handle it. Other theories will abound here at the Asylum on the Big Talker Online. Tell you what, we'll be right back after this news, weather, and sponsor break.
Keeping Leland informed. The Big Talker 106.7 FM WFBT, Carolina Beach.
Folks, you know you're all looking for that special gift. Lines are long, traffic is frustrating, supply chains in the news. Just take a deep breath. If you're anywhere near Oak Island, come by Seaside Jewelers, 8801 East Oak Island Drive. Avoid the traffic, the lines, the frustration, and get that extraordinary and special gift. From high-end diamond rings to Larimar, from necklaces to bracelets, watches, and unique jewelry. And you also get one-on-one service with their experienced staff. Great prices now, just in time for the holidays. Come by and check out Seaside Jewelers, 8801 East Oak Island Drive.
Hi, this is Justin Humphreys from the Humphreys Law Firm on Eastwood Road. The Humphreys Law Firm is located in Lumina Station, Wilmington, North Carolina, practices civil litigation, intellectual property, commercial, and residential real estate. Please give us a call at 910-332-0721 or visit us on our website, which is www.humphreysfirm.law. You can also listen to me every Thursday from 6 to 7 p.m. on the Big Talker 106.7 FM.
Hello, I'm Jeff Rivenbark with WWAY News. Hospitals are trying to save the lives of multiple people gravely injured by inhaling smoke in a fire that is already New York City's deadliest in 3 decades. Dozens of people were hospitalized yesterday, and as many as 13 were in critical condition after the blaze, which killed 19 people. Investigators determined that a malfunctioning electric space heater started the fire in the 19-story building. Authorities say 9 of the dead were children. A comedian and actor best known for his role in the sitcom Full House has died. Bob Saget was 65. The Orange County, Florida Sheriff's Office says it was called yesterday about an unresponsive man and found Saget dead in a hotel room at the Ritz-Carlton in Orlando. Detectives found no signs of foul play or drug use. Saget was in Florida as part of his I Don't Do Negative Comedy tour. Saget was also the longtime host of America's Funniest Home Videos and the narrator of How I Met Your Mother. Back in the Cape Fear, 2 Bladen County high schools will be going remote this week due to staffing issues caused by COVID-19. Starting today, West Bladen and East Bladen high schools will transition to remote learning due to positive COVID-19 cases and exposures. Remote learning is scheduled to last through Friday. The Board of Education is set to discuss the district's mask mandate at its meeting tomorrow. Right now, masks are currently optional. And finally, a heads up for drivers in New Hanover County. Work is expected to begin this morning on a railroad crossing near Highway 421 and is expected to cause some lane closures. CSX will be performing repairs in the northbound and southbound lanes of U.S. Highway 421 near the New Hanover County Recycling Center. There will be a detour for those trying to access the landfill and recycling center. Construction is scheduled to end Friday. For more on these stories, head over to WWAYTV3.com. I'm Jeff Rivenbark. Have a great day.
Happy Monday, everybody. I'm WWAY meteorologist Ramel Carpenter with the Storm Track 3 forecast. Cloudy start to the day out there across the Cape Fear, but those clouds will make way for some sunshine and certainly some temperatures that are much cooler than normal. We're going to be in the upper 40s for most of the afternoon, despite the sunny skies, and then heading into the overnight hours, clear skies. Going to set us up for a cold night as our temperatures drop all the way down into the middle and the upper 20s. Get your full forecast on WWAY and WWAYTV3.com.
This news and weather is brought to you by Two Men and a Truck. For your free quote, go to twomenandatruck.com. twomenandatruck.com.
I'm a construction superintendent working on a new housing project in the area. I've always loved being a part of a construction crew, watching the plans come to life. But I wanted more. I went to CFCC and trained in construction management technology. Now my skills allow me to have the life I once dreamed of. I make great money and can get a job anywhere. I got my start at CFCC, and you can too. Visit cfcc.edu/trades and get started today.
Folks, we all know ongoing road construction and traffic can weigh heavy on your vehicle. Since 2006, O'Leary's Automotive Repair has provided comprehensive repair services at affordable prices to get you back on the road in no time. Their ASE certified technicians will help you find a cost-effective repair and maintenance alternatives. O'Leary's has multiple locations in the area in Hampstead, Leland, the Myrtle Grove area, Ogden, and Wrightsboro. O'Leary's Automotive Repair, a trusted, locally owned business since 2006.
If you want to talk about culture and politics without all the caterwauling, then you'll love Hertel Radio with me, your host, Andrew Donaldson, every weekday morning, 6 a.m. with a replay at 3 p.m. right here on the Big Talker. Catch it on the Listen Live tab on the app or watch on the Facebook page.
Back on the asylum on the Big Talker Online. Monday morning, 8:45. Covering everything from long COVID to free speech. All of it is important. Local elections. Doesn't matter what county you're in, that county is important to you. If you don't think so, just wait until you have to deal with the court system. Whether you yourself are arrested or have to deal with somebody who committed a crime against you, the people in those buildings are going to become very, very important. $330 million of us in this country. And every 4 years, the same two idiots. Oh, it's not the same two, like the exact same two, but it's never the two best people, right? I mean, I would think the entire election system would be looking for the best person for the job. But somehow, during the primaries, all of the people who might be good for the job are eliminated, and the two people who are most beneficial to the corporate maxim are presented and paraded in front of us as the solution for the world's problems. This isn't a very sustainable system. I mean, being profitable is one thing, but exploiting is an entire other situation. EpiPen's great example. But at the same time, our entire structure, government-wise, being a man-made entity, is something we are responsible for. We created it. We need to fix it. We need to maintain it. Just like the crumbling building downtown, it will be uninhabitable very shortly if we don't do something about it. This whole cleaning house, no. Let's just fix the house. It needs a complete remodel. And I get that much of what the Founding Fathers laid in place as far as our rights are is the words that we had at that time to explain what we were trying to deal with. It was a completely new foreign concept. Well, now that we've had a couple of 100 years of working at it, now we can refine and remodel to fit the 21st century. There are laws on the books in many places like spitting on the sidewalk. It's literally a law, but is it enforced? Should it be? You know, where are we wasting our time? We have so many laws because we are an unlawful group. Right? I bet this whole health situation could have been handled differently if we hadn't told all the rednecks they had to do something. Because once all the cannoli-brained idiots decided, yes, I'm calling some names, but there is a vast number of people whose entire existence is only to be confrontational. And a lot of these people would have probably been willing to take the vaccine had they not been told that they had to take the vaccine. You threaten their job, you piss them off. These are knee-jerk reaction people. These are not logical, intelligent people. These are emotionally driven people. These are the people that storm the Capitol. These are the people that don't have enough strength in their own identity within themselves, that they are bothered, they are offended, they are incensed by anything different. Whether it's a gay man with pink hair, or a Laos-speaking immigrant whose family was just burned to death not a month ago. We really, truly are horrible people to each other. Within our own families, we don't have a family unit identity anymore. Many countries, that's their primary focus. It starts with the family. It starts with the neighborhood. It starts with the community. And grows from there. Here, it's all about us individually. My squat truck is cooler than yours. We're the country where YouTube influencer is a career. That's what you would put on your W-2 form. What do you do for a living? I am a YouTube influencer. How the hell did that become a job? That's just an example of how ridiculous we are as a species. And the thing is, many, much like Omicron and everything else, many of these I consider social diseases spread across the planet faster now, like TikTok. And everybody's worried about this, what was it, the latest one, the milk crate challenge? Lots of people are getting hurt doing the milk crate challenge. Let them. If they're stupid enough to do it, let them. Because they're not going to learn if you tell them, and you sure as hell can't mandate it. All you're going to do is have twice as many people try it just because you told them not to. If you let them discover it for themselves, oh, look, grandma's dead. Maybe we should look at getting the vaccine. That's what it takes for anybody in America to get it together. Certainly the ones that would think that a squat truck is a good idea. And yes, it's a slippery slope to, dictate what cars can be driven. But much like the back of a truck, on the big semi-trucks, they now have a stop bar so that your car can't get wedged under it unless you're driving a really stupid car like a Corvette at 100 miles an hour and you get wedged up under it. It's still going to happen. But in basic day-to-day, oops, I forgot to hit the brakes because I was looking at the radio, you're not going to die. In the case of a squat truck, I've been in one of these things. You cannot see the road in front of you. You cannot see if there is another car or a small person, maybe a child on a bicycle, in front of your car. Is it going to take running over a child for somebody to go, oh, maybe squat trucks aren't a good idea? And since a lot about squat truck is subjective, they had to put it into numbers, into words as to what would define a squat truck. And they did it by fender. So you can squat the hell out of the truck as long as the fenders are even. Still can't see the road, still dangerous. But we'll let y'all figure it out. We'll let you run over a kid. Then it'll become important, because in this country, it's not important. It doesn't matter to the important people until it matters to them personally. Laws don't change because you and I are asking for it. Laws get changed because something happens to an important person. Right? I mean, I don't know if y'all remember, what was it, Iron Man 3? Right? The bald guy at the end of the movie is talking about his daughter who's trying to grow back. He wants to grow his daughter's limb back or something like that, and he's funding the very enemy that Tony Stark is fighting. That's who we are. That's how it works. Until it becomes important to you, it won't matter. And it's by then it's too late. By then, there's no way to elect yourself out of a despot. Not happening. So it sounds good to say, like Zappa did, get out and vote. Go vote. So let's get some of these people in here and let's meet them. For example, the All Things Brunswick show that'll be on tomorrow live at 6, streaming from the GOP headquarters in Brunswick County. They are making an effort to bring all of the candidates running for office into their headquarters so they can at least, meet the people. So that more people can get to see who they are, what they're doing, what they're about, how to get more information. And looking to improve their own area by the people that they have in office, which starts at the local level. And then we fix that going all the way up the chain to the federal level so that we are no longer handed two of the worst examples of the human race as candidates for president. And the ridiculousness of the base-stirring rhetoric spouting office holders currently aren't there for the constituents. They're there for the free meal. They're there for the free salary. They don't have to do anything. They don't care about you or me. What they care about is getting their little base riled up, because that puts money into the coffers for their election campaign so they can go around the country for free, eating really nice food in really nice restaurants that you and I will never go into for free. Free travel. I mean, who wouldn't want this gig? The only other gig better than this is a rock star, and that's because you get to, get absolutely wasted and trash your hotel room, and you're considered legend. That's one of the few things that might get you in trouble as a representative or senator or, any of those cats. Is it takes some sort of ridiculous sexual financial drug scandal to finally say, oh, hey, maybe we elected the wrong guy. How many of those stories can we eliminate ourselves by not electing drug dealing, drug manufacturing, corrupt, self-centered pricks as our representatives? I mean, is that who we are? That was my argument when Trump was elected. He was the perfect example of who we are as Americans. We're fat, we're disgusting, we're misogynistic, we're hateful, we're short, we're terse, we don't read, we crap on a gold toilet, we worship guns, and we worship the optics. We want to take pretty pictures in front of pretty places, not realizing that we just, hospitalized 35 people to get there. We are a destructive force, so why wouldn't we be represented by a destructive force? Starts at the local level, and we have the power over that. Simple as that. We're the ones who can make a difference. You don't want corrupt people in your court system? Stop electing corrupt people. You want stronger law enforcement? Elect stronger leaders. You want less housing and urban development right in the middle of the most beautiful places in the city? Stop electing developers. You want decent education? Stop hiring or electing MBAs and start hiring or electing educators. I mean, these are elections that we are responsible for. And we need to stop being taken in by the cute slogans and the chants and the rhyming schemes and start getting into what matters. I mean, the school system that your children are going into is something that you, me, are responsible for. And if we elect corrupt, inept people, what would we expect as an outcome? Well, that's some heavy thoughts right here on the asylum, on the Big Talker. I'll be back. Apparently, I'm the last man standing. Everybody else is flat on their backs trying to get better. And I hope they get better soon because, damn it, I'm not good at this. Certainly not solo. Be right back after this message.
Keeping Leland informed. The Big Talker 106.7 FM WFBT, Carolina Beach.
Folks, you know you're all looking for that special gift. Lines are long, traffic is frustrating, supply chains in the news. Just take a deep breath. If you're anywhere near Oak Island, come by Seaside Jewelers, 8801 East Oak Island Drive. Avoid the traffic, the lines, the frustration, and get that extraordinary and special gift. From high-end diamond rings to Larimar, from necklaces to bracelets, watches, and unique jewelry. And you also get one-on-one service with their experienced staff. Great prices now, just in time for the holidays. Come by and check out Seaside Jewelers, 8801 East Oak Island Drive.
Hi, this is Justin Humphreys from the Humphreys Law Firm on Eastwood Road. The Humphreys Law Firm is located in Lumina Station, Wilmington, North Carolina, practices civil litigation, intellectual property, commercial, and residential real estate. Please give us a call at 910-332-0721 or visit us on our website, which is www.humphreysfirm.law. You can also listen to me every Thursday from 6 to 7 p.m. on the Big Talker 106.7 FM.
Hello, I'm Jeff Rivenbark with WWAY News. Hospitals are trying to save the lives of multiple people gravely injured by inhaling smoke in a fire that is already New York City's deadliest in 3 decades. Dozens of people were hospitalized yesterday, and as many as 13 were in critical condition after the blaze, which killed 19 people. Investigators determined that a malfunctioning electric space heater started the fire in the 19-story building. Authorities say 9 of the dead were children. A comedian and actor best known for his role in the sitcom Full House has died. Bob Saget was 65. The Orange County, Florida Sheriff's Office says it was called yesterday about an unresponsive man and found Saget dead in a hotel room at the Ritz-Carlton in Orlando. Detectives found no signs of foul play or drug use. Saget was in Florida as part of his I Don't Do Negative comedy tour. Saget was also the longtime host of America's Funniest Home Videos and the narrator of How I Met Your Mother. Back in the Cape Fear, 2 Bladen County high schools will be going remote this week due to staffing issues caused by COVID-19. Starting today, West Bladen and East Bladen high schools will transition to remote learning due to positive COVID-19 cases and exposures. Remote learning is scheduled to last through Friday. The Board of Education is set to discuss the district's mask mandate at its meeting tomorrow. Right now, masks are currently optional. And finally, a heads up for drivers in New Hanover County. Work is expected to begin this morning on a railroad crossing near Highway 421 and is expected to cause some lane closures. CSX will be performing repairs in the northbound and southbound lanes of U.S. Highway 421 near the New Hanover County Recycling Center. There will be a detour for those trying to access the landfill and recycling center. Construction is scheduled to end Friday. For more on these stories, head over to WWAYTV3.com. I'm Jeff Rivenbark. Have a great day.
Happy Monday, everybody. I'm WWAY meteorologist Ramel Carpenter with the Storm Track 3 forecast. Cloudy start to the day out there across the Cape Fear, but those clouds will make way for some sunshine and certainly some temperatures that are much cooler than normal. We're going to be in the upper 40s for most of the afternoon, despite the sunny skies. And then heading into the overnight hours, clear skies. Going to set us up for a cold night as our temperatures drop all the way down into the middle and the upper 20s. Get your full forecast on WWAY and WWAYTV3.com.
This news and weather is brought to you by Two Men and a Truck. For your free quote, go to twomenandatruck.com. twomenandatruck.com.
I'm a construction superintendent working on a new housing project in the area. I've always loved being a part of a construction crew, watching the plans come to life. But I wanted more. I went to CFCC and trained in construction management technology. Now my skills allow me to have the life I once dreamed of. I make great money and can get a job anywhere. I got my start at CFCC, and you can too. Visit cfcc.edu/trades and get started today.
Folks, we all know ongoing road construction and traffic can weigh heavy on your vehicle. Since 2006, O'Leary's Automotive Repair has provided comprehensive repair services at affordable prices to get you back on the road in no time. Their ASE certified technicians will help you find a cost-effective repair and maintenance alternatives. O'Leary's has multiple locations in the area in Hampstead, Leland, the Myrtle Grove area, Ogden, and Wrightsboro. O'Leary's Automotive Repair, a trusted, locally owned business since 2006.
If you want to talk about culture and politics without all the caterwauling, then you'll love Hertel Radio with me, your host, Andrew Donaldson, every weekday morning, 6 a.m. with a replay at 3 p.m. right here on the Big Talker. Catch it on the Listen Live tab on the app or watch on the Facebook page.
It's time to get up. That's right, you slags. What is your major malfunction? Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It is a Monday at 9 o'clock in the morning here in the southeastern North Carolina region. And we're all just going crazy. It's just nuts out here. Everybody's sick, everybody out, everybody just... I'm the last man standing. I am all you get. I'm it. Ain't no guess, ain't no script. This is real life right here, ladies and gentlemen. You never know what's going to happen. So for this segment of our show, I'm going to introduce words. American English words. Words that are used that we don't seem to understand. One of these words, parameter. Oh my gosh, I don't know the parameter. So, the parameters of any given subject situation seems like a big, scary, weird word. About the meter. Parameter is what it is. That's about the metric. Around the metric is what it translates to, more or less. The idea is it's part of what's behind. Right? Didn't come out right. So any given command, let's start with that. I'm going to use a simple word, and we're going to pretend like we're a little automaton, and we're telling our taxi driver, another automaton, how to get to where we're going. And we say, turn, because that's the command. That's the verb. Please turn. Turn. But without the parameters, he cannot execute the command the way you want. Right? So if you say turn left, we at least know you're going to go to the left, or you want to go to the left. But when or where? Turn left at the light, turn left in 3 blocks, turn left in half an hour. Right? So these parameters provide more and more accurate specificity to the subject at hand. Turn left on 3rd Street is more than enough of the parameters to tell your taxi driver what to do when he approaches 3rd Street. You need say nothing else. Unless, of course, he's driving too fast or he sideswipes a car, hits a kid on a bike, something like that. Then you may want to say, yo, whether it's Uber, Lyft, taxi, whatever, just telling him turn left on 3rd Street, all the parameters are there. The command and the direction, which is one of the parameters, and when or where is another parameter. Sort of the who, what, where, when, why, how. Those are parameters. I'm going to go. Can stand alone by itself. I'm going to go to the store. Okay, so you've given me another parameter that I understand that where you're going has a destination. That parameter, destination, has been stated. I'm going to stop by the store after work. Okay, so I have an idea of when you're off work, and on your way home, you're going to stop by the store. Those simple parameters fills in a lot of data and makes things easier to understand. And we do this in our regular conversation. So when we come across a situation with a computer, for example, and it asks us for parameters, or what are the parameters of this calculation? Certainly students will freak out on this in math. That's all they're asking, is fill in the information needed to finish the task. For example, turn left at 3rd Street. That finishes that task. Whether you're at your destination or not is a totally different matter. The fact that the man turned left on 3rd Street was all he needed as far as parameters to execute the turn that you wanted. The same thing with the computer program. If you say display time and you give it no other, there's going to be what's known as a default. And it doesn't mean that it's anyone's fault. It just means that in absence of any other parameter definition or definition of parameter, depending on what type of English, if you listen to Yoda a lot, it makes sense. In the absence of any parameters defined, then this is the value that will be returned. So if you say display date, the default format may have year, month, day, hour, minute, seconds, which is the international standard for telling time. Us Americans decided to do crap all kinds of backwards, putting the month first, then the day, then the year, then the hour, then the minute, then the second. Just completely wrong. No order to it whatsoever. Just completely freaking random. So this will now help you understand when programming standalone items such as a VCR or your microwave, that now and again you will be asked for parameters. Setting the time, the parameters would be the hour, the minute, and when to start, right? What time is it? It's now. That's not the answer to the question. It is an answer. But certainly not to the question being sought. You're just answering to be difficult. What time is it right now? you've defined some parameters. I need to know, not necessarily, what time is the bake sale? The parameters involved are pretty simple. So if we don't complicate it because we're afraid of the word, we can define or at least understand the definition of parameter when it applies to other things. How's that grab you? Another word I like to explore is scale. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, si, do is a scale. The scales of justice, right? A weight scale, I weigh 140 pounds. Or a scale of, how many grams of fish, or how many kilos of fish. We had all kind of, on a scale of 1 to 10, this show rates what, about a 1.5? Scale is a very broad concept, which is why the word has so many meanings, like the scale on a fish. It almost implies a sense of pattern, doesn't it? Like a scale on a fish, there's going to be a repeating pattern of this scale throughout the body. Much like on a scale of 1 to 10, there are little tick marks all the way up. So your scale is how many of these scales, values that you rate. When singing a note scale, it's like looking at a fish heads up, that the higher note and lower notes, it's going to be a scale. And it's a pattern that's even. It's scaled. We scale a mountain. We descend a mountain when we come down, but going up, we scale it. We're going to scale that cliff face. So it almost implies a direction, doesn't it? We're going somewhere. A musical scale is going somewhere, but it's also defining the endpoints. A scale of 1 to 10, a do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, si, do. There's a definite beginning and end point. The scales of a fish, it can only extend to the ends of the fish. The scale of justice can only sway so far, because you're not looking at the whole world, you're looking at one case. So the parameters, the information in that case is going to balance those scales. So the next time you're looking at the word scale or using the word scale or see it in use, think about it in a, take a moment, look at it in broader sense. Would another type of scale still make sense in that context? Even if it changes the context, would it still make sense? Creating a new context. And our words didn't get here by accident. Right, here's another one for you. Save. S-A-V-E. Come on down to the store. We got a sale going on. We're going to save you money. No. When you save something, like saving someone's life, they were going to be and they're not. Right? If you save money, you put it into the bank. You don't put it in the store. If you go to the store, you're spending money. You're not saving money. You're just spending a little less. Because they're banking that if they put this item on sale, you'll pay a little less for this item. And you'll think, oh my goodness, I'm saving money. So I now have more money to spend, which is the complete opposite of saving money, to buy other crap in the store that they will make more money on, more than the few cents that they give me because of the item that's on sale that actually got me in the door. It's a trick. It's a psychological trick playing on our emotions, much the way that our entire election system works. So the next time someone says they can save you money on your car insurance, yeah? Am I going to save money or am I actually going to spend less? There are two completely different concepts, two completely different thoughts. The fact that you can actually verbalize that into a statement and have it be true is kind of scary. Because it, in and of itself, is as misleading as much of the rhetoric coming out of the Mar-a-Lago, Washington corridor would have you believe about other things. Saving money. You're not saving money, you're spending less. Two different things. Keep it in mind. So many words in our English language do we need to explore along these lines. And there's over 170,000 words in the English language, I think. I know there's well over 130,000. My friend Google is right here. I'm going to ask her. Hey, Google. Oh, let's do it on a new pad. There we go. How many words in English language? Google's response? $171,146 words currently in use in the English language. In addition, there are over 47,000 obsolete words. And we don't know any of them. Parameter, parabola. And words made from words. Kind of like the Germans do, but the German language has like the most amazing way of making a single 37-syllable word mean exactly what you're trying to say. In America, it'll take a couple thousand words. I remember in the School of Education, we used to joke about the essays we wrote as a kid. Write a 500-page essay or 500-word essay on whatever. It was very, 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 very rough to read, right? We start cramming in just putting in word counts, not realizing that at least when I figured out in college, I mean, I had to take English a few times because the problem wasn't necessarily that I didn't know English. I just wasn't practiced or skilled at organizing the thoughts in a logical form that would read and get my idea across the way I meant to. And it turns out a 500-word essay is nothing when you explore any given topic, with or without expertise. I don't know anything about healthcare, but I bet it would be easy to write a 500-page essay with an hour's worth of research on any particular subject and burn right through it. Because knowledge will fill up pages faster than anything else. I mean, that's why we have the Library of Congress that's as massive as it is. And I'm not saying that all smart people are only, it's not that only smart people write books. Look at the slew of books that came out of this last administration. Not a lot of those were Mensa candidates. Some were, but some are just looking to make a buck, and being the stupid Americans that we are, we threw money at it and supported it. As my political science instructor once said, we vote with our money more so than we ever did with our ballot. Because when you support something with your money, that's what you want to live. That's why Walmart is doing far better than it ever has. Because that's what we want. That's what we support. We want cheap China crap. Which is why we buy cheap China crap from the cheap China crap big box store. The big ugly blue building with the yellow sun dot. If you don't believe me, go into your kitchen right now and see how many of your foods don't have a logo. Huh? Even your vegetables had a logo on them at one point, I bet. Because that's who we are. We're more about the brand. We're more about the optics than we are about the substance, the content, or the sustainability of this. The fact that we have YouTube influencers making obscene amounts of money makes me want an apocalypse to occur. You feel me? Because if that's who we are encouraging by giving our money to YouTube influencers, because that's what we want more of in our world, then it's time to shrink the world a little bit. We're encouraging the wrong things. We're reading the wrong things, if we're reading at all. We're reading memes that some 9-year-old put together. We're a bunch of knee-jerk reaction, non-reading cretins. I'm hoping this rant will get Chad to call in and say, no, it's not that bad. All the conservatives are going to save the world. Love is all you need. That and some litigation, some legislation, maybe a catchy phrase and a logo on your flag. That'll get you elected. That's the important stuff right there, ladies and gentlemen. Doesn't matter that they don't know the English language, bigly. The fact there's absolutely no shame, no responsibility, no personal, it's all optics. It's all riling the base. It's all distraction. It's a lot of techniques and tactics, but no solutions, no discussions. And that's what I would like to encourage, and that may be why this entire station tanks. I don't know. Conservative ideas are just as legitimate as progressive ideas or liberal ideas. And the more we discuss it, actually discuss the issues without the name calling, without the rhetoric and the memes and the half-assed, half-baked, incomplete, and disinformation strategies, and get to what the problem is. Right? One of the most amazing speeches I ever heard about drug addiction was not talking about the drug addicts themselves, but why people feel the need to turn to drugs. What about their life is so horrendous that en masse, that there's got to be something common behind 30 million people a year getting addicted and dying from opioid addiction and overdose. For a lot of these people, it didn't start with, like back pain and, an irresponsible doctor just handing out gobs and handfuls of pain meds, right? These are kids, adults, moms, dads, that for some reason feel a need to, or they feel a void that can only be filled by drugs, alcohol. It's addressing that, right? You heard about the rat experiment where they gave put 2 rats in a cage and they put a bottle on each side. One had cocaine, one had water. And the rats killed themselves with cocaine because they were bored out of their skull. Their life was so completely freaking miserable that cocaine gave them something. Now, when they did the experiment again and they gave rats a little, gave the mice a little mice haven, a little mouse park to go mousing in, little mouse wheel to go mouse running on. Gave them food, gave them a pool, right? Little Club Med for mouse. He didn't touch the cocaine. He was happy. He was fine. He had no need to fill a void. And that's kind of the same for us. Even Sir Knight was talking about having a sense of purpose. Even if it is just running a radio pirate internet station for nobody, or for me, or for you, or for somebody to listen to in 20 years from now and say, wow, He was right. The local elections is really where it was at. All the corruption and all the money in our local economy was torn up and chewed up from legislation and litigation of our officers and elected officials and scandals and God knows what else. Because we weren't paying attention. While the people that are truly evil and powerful are the ones that are not going to stand in front of the microphones and be narcissistic little bastards. The really evil people are the ones you don't see, the ones you don't hear about. And the only way to correct that is to vote those people out of office. Unique concept, but that's what the democracy is about. Not only is it a right, it is a responsibility. And if you don't like the outcome, it's up to you and me to fix it. Vote local. Vote often. And know what you're voting on. Know who you're voting for. A slogan, a logo, does not a person's agenda make, right? Hold them accountable. Use English words correctly and engage these people. Call them up. Send them a letter. The more respectful you are, the more engagement you will get. But I don't think that there's an American among us, between the ages of 19 and 35 that can write a letter. Because that wasn't taught in school either. It was when I was a kid, just like it was with in fact, we wrote letters to our senators and representatives outlining issues that we would like to address or face. And as kids, and they, cute little exercise, they send us back a letter. We will take this under advisement. Basically, is what it said. But until we do that, we are going to continue this downward slide and get dominated by all the other countries on this planet. The only way we became a superpower is because we built up an army that just went out and broke things and killed people. And they did it really, really well. We were amazing at that. But now we need to learn how to not be the bully jerk on the block and learn how to keep our own house in order and maybe come up with our own solutions. But we're not going to do it by name-calling and dehumanizing other people, which gives us the right to do things to them we wouldn't do to our family. Because again, until it matters to us, it won't be important. You're listening to The Asylum on The Big Talker Online. We'll be right back after some news and weather and a few words from our sponsors and supporters.
Hello, I'm Jeff Rivenbark with WWAY News. Hospitals are trying to save the lives of multiple people gravely injured by inhaling smoke in a fire that is already New York City's deadliest in 3 decades. Dozens of people were hospitalized yesterday, and as many as 13 were in critical condition after the blaze, which killed 19 people. Investigators determined that a malfunctioning electric space heater started the fire in the 19-story building. Authorities say 9 of the dead were children. A comedian and actor best known for his role in the sitcom Full House has died. Bob Saget was 65. The Orange County, Florida Sheriff's Office says it was called yesterday about an unresponsive man and found Saget dead in a hotel room at the Ritz-Carlton in Orlando. Detectives found no signs of foul play or drug use. Saget was in Florida as part of his I Don't Do Negative comedy tour. Saget was also the longtime host of America's Funniest Home Videos and the narrator of How I Met Your Mother. Back in the Cape Fear, 2 Bladen County high schools will be going remote this week due to staffing issues caused by COVID-19. Starting today, West Bladen and East Bladen high schools will transition to remote learning due to positive COVID-19 cases and exposures. Remote learning is scheduled to last through Friday. The Board of Education is set to discuss the district's mask mandate at its meeting tomorrow. Right now, masks are currently optional. And finally, a heads up for drivers in New Hanover County. Work is expected to begin this morning on a railroad crossing near Highway 421 and is expected to cause some lane closures. CSX will be performing repairs in the northbound and southbound lanes of U.S. Highway 421 near the New Hanover County Recycling Center. There will be a detour for those trying to access the landfill and recycling center. Construction is scheduled to end Friday. For more on these stories, head over to WWAYTV3.com. I'm Jeff Rivenbark. Have a great day.
Happy Monday, everybody. I'm WWAY meteorologist Ramel Carpenter with the Storm Track 3 forecast. Cloudy start to the day out there across the Cape Fear, but those clouds will make way for some sunshine and certainly some temperatures that are much cooler than normal. We're going to be in the upper 40s for most of the afternoon, despite the sunny skies. And then heading into the overnight hours, clear skies. Going to set us up for a cold night as our temperatures drop all the way down into the middle and the upper 20s. Get your full forecast on WWAY and WWAYTV3.com.
This news and weather is brought to you by Two Men and a Truck. For your free quote, go to twomenandatruck.com. twomenandatruck.com. When you purchase a Golden Technology lift and sleep chair from US Med Express at 1733 Dawson Street, you get the benefit of a lift assist chair, a recliner, a memory button chair, a zero gravity chair, a Trendelenburg device, and a sleep chair, all in one of the most comfortable pieces of furniture you have ever experienced. Our chairs lead the industry in power lift recliner features and advances in technology. Our chairs are FDA certified as medical devices, which means it's 100% tax deductible and helps with a number of medical conditions, including arthritis, poor circulation, and sleep apnea. Give us a call today at 910-500-6162 or stop by and experience our chairs for yourself at 1733 Dawson Street. That's 910-500-6162. 1733 Dawson Street in Wilmington. US Med Express.
I am State Farm Agent Rob Renz, and I want to help you get to a better place. Visit us online at ilminsurance.com. That's ilminsurance.com. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Man, I would have loved to have been in the studio when that was built. Anyway, we're back at the Asylum on the Big Talker Online, coming at you from the beautiful and now getting chilly southeastern North Carolina coast, broadcasting via the internet to the entire planet Earth. How exciting is that? It doesn't mean that planet Earth is listening. That's fine. That's fine. We're still a little morning program in our little corner of the world, helping explain everything from the Constitution to balance of scales and parameters. Trying to get a handle on some things along COVID, what we can and cannot say, when and where we can say what it is we want or can or cannot say. The difference between freedom of speech and terms of service, right? It's my car. I don't want you scribbling stuff on my car that I don't agree with. But to be fair, I don't scribble anything on my car that anyone might agree with because I like my car, and my car is not politically a battering ram. It's not a billboard. It's my way to get to and from work, getting to and from gigs and the things that I do and enjoy. It's my way of getting around. It's not a billboard for my attitude. Right? You want to know? Ask me. I'll be more than happy to talk to you about it. I'm more about the how. Right? I mean, that's the whole curiosity thing. How did we get here? Why is this happening? How does this work? Why not do it this way? Why not at least entertain an idea that comes from somebody different? Like, if we're really going to be colorblind, let's start with the R and the D, the red and the blue. The derogatory, the name calling, the playground antics. Let's start asking questions. Why? Why would chemtrails be a thing? I mean, why would you poison the tax base that keeps you alive, then pays for your transportation, your food, and your health care? Right? I mean, that's just ridiculous. People all bent out of shape on fluoride. Think about it. Don't get too mad. Because at the time, we were trying to, I mean, this has been going, fluoride has been in our water for years. And it was started as a program to help people in underserved communities have less dental problems. It was a preventative measure. It's not as bad for you as a systemic level as it was helpful in getting the overall basic dental care to a standard. It's quite possible, as some of the research has shown, that we have cleared something of a generational hurdle where there's better dental care all the way around and awareness that we may be able to do away with the fluoride addition. But to get upset about it as it was, you know, some surprise or super secret, no. We made a big deal out of it in the 50s, I believe it was, when it was first introduced. There's fluoride in the water. Yep, there sure is. And that's why less people have rotting teeth, or their teeth rot out of their head at a much later age. And a lot of the legislation that we do, using that as an example, starts out with good intentions. The road to hell is paved with good intentions. So it's who we elect that's determining whether we're getting to the goal we want without causing death, destruction in the wake of that pursuit. And if we are truly granted the opportunity of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness for all who walk the earth, then we need to extend that, as Andrew has been ranting, and I get his point now a little more than ever, that we need to hold countries like China accountable and not give them profitable brands like the IOC, because that brings a lot of money. It's a big deal. And we're basically rewarding them for being the most heinous humans on the planet. People that we would prosecute people in this country and put them to death for what happens on a daily basis over there as casual as spitting on a sidewalk. Yeah, there's a law and a book for it, but are they going to bother to enforce it? We encourage this with our money, with our advertising, with our branding, with our sponsorships, and by hosting the IOC there, because everybody has to go to China. Everybody would have to spend money in China just to eat, just to get around, just to find their room. You have to tip the concierge, you have to tip the bellboy, you have to tip everybody, right? I mean, it's like going to Disneyland, except for you don't get to keep the ears. Just like my political science teacher said, You vote with your money more than you ever do with your ballot. So if we spend a whole lot of money in China, that means we are voting for China. We spend a whole lot of money at Walmart, we are spending money on China. But if we put it in a blue building with a yellow sun on it, we don't know the difference. If we hide it behind the IOC and, well, it's China's turn, they should have a chance. We're going to reward them with millions upon millions of dollars for the heinous BS that they've been, never mind. And we shouldn't have to live there for it to matter to us. Because if we get up in arms about a murder that happened in our own borders, we should get upset about the murders that are happening in other borders. We like to poke our nose into other people's business. Why is it here we're going to reward them rather than chastise them, sanction them, or hold them to account in any way, shape, or form? Because I tell you what, if I can get slapped on the knuckles with millions of dollars for doing something like that, sign me up. Because a slap on the wrist, right? You've heard that term. But if the slap on the wrist is not coming from a rod or a ruler, but is rather coming from a stack of Benjamins, you're not really sending the message you're trying to. You know what I'm saying? So there's an opportunity. Hold that to account. So, Andrew, I get your point there a little more. I'm not entirely clear on all of it, but it has been a horrible human rights violations country since, before Tiananmen Square. And if there's going to be a power buildover in that part of the country, I think we should put a lot more, awareness on what's happening with their relationships and other economies that do not include us or the European Union, and start looking to other means by getting the goods and services that we like here in this country without making them exorbitantly expensive to be made in this country. Not that I'm saying we should enforce slave labor, but maybe we should do a little curbing with how the government is oversight to some ways to an extreme, and in others have taken and completely gutted any sort of oversight. It's a little out of balance. And instead of MBAs and lawyers looking at this stuff, maybe we use economists. Maybe we use scientists that have studied the environment, studied, geologists and hydrologists, right? Those are the people who are going to understand how water affects the economy, how a road will affect the ecology, the area. The environmental impact of any of our decisions should not be based on the people, should not be judged by the people who will profit from this. It should be from the people who are actually concerned about this. You don't ask an MBA if this is good for the soil or not. If it makes them money, it's great for the soil. If it doesn't make them money, it's not good for the soil. That's as simple an answer for them because they base it in their framework. In the case of women's health, that should be enough. That not one medical professional and not one woman on the Women's Health Council. I'm telling you, there shouldn't be an MBA or a lawyer. It should be nothing but doctors, male and female. Because it may be that men have to work on women. Oh my gosh. Right? When it comes to a medical emergency or medical care, gender kind of, falls by the wayside. They deal with the body and what the body needs. And sometimes they have to base the decisions for that body on the chromosomal representation. Because colorectal cancer is a unique type of cancer that, depending on how your XY thing works out, how your treatment's going to go. So there are times you will notice difference. And it seems that more often than not, we look to those differences rather than what keeps us together, what makes us the same. You can even get as campy as, well, we're all Americans, we're all in the same boat. No, as Andrew put it out, put out there, we're all dealing with the same thing, but we have different tools at our disposal. I don't have a yacht and can go out into the middle of the ocean and stay away from everybody or something like that. But I do live in a small town outside of town, big town, so I don't have to go to town and interact with people if I don't want to. And during all this craziness, I just don't want to. I minimize my impact, my contact. Show up, do what I need, get home. I'm not hugging and kissing everybody. Fist bump, stay away. Let me do my job. I'll be out of here. See you soon, bye. How we handle it is up to us. But as far as being told what to do, that's based on who we elected. And sometimes we elected the same guy who's been in office because, well, he was elected the first time, and apparently, since he hasn't been arrested, he's doing a good job. So let's elect him again because it hasn't arrested, No, that's how the sheriff in New Mexico came to power. Because nobody cared. Nobody seemed to care. And then they wonder why there's a spike in drug sales and usage, but nobody's getting arrested because, oh, hey, the whole thing is his operation. How does that work for you? Oh, he was elected over and over again. This is what happens when you're not paying attention and watching the latest binge on Netflix. Right? How do you fix that? Read a book. Call your senator. Hey, what's going on? Call your county clerk. What's going on? Right? Go look at these websites. I know Rouser was really good about having his website up and going. I still get emails from a number of our cats. But should they be in office 20, 30 years, 50 years, 60 years? No. There's something we can change right there. 2 terms, 12 years. That's 3 presidential, potentially. 2. There's at least 2, if not 3, presidential administrations in a senatorial or representative term, 2-term limit. Right? 6 years times 2 is 12. You can only be president for a maximum of 8. So there's at least 2 presidential administrations. And they don't get stuck aging in the chambers for 50, 60, 70 years. And I'm not saying that we should elect kids, because some of these kids can't read. We sure as hell shouldn't elect them. And I'm not saying that everybody that we elect should be geriatric. What I would say is that everyone that we elect should be qualified. And qualification for office, I think, transcends everything from skin color to tie color. But it does seem to be a trend that you wear a red tie if you're a Republican and a blue tie if you're a Democrat. It should transcend all of that. Who's qualified to be in the cabinet position for education? What is that? Secretary of Education. Let's just start there, because that's what's good. If you want to fix the world, the future, we're not going to do it today. But we need to empower and educate our kids so they can. Not that we're leaving all our problems to them, but in the course of educating them, ourselves will become good stewards and be able to respond and make adjustments now that will help them with their solutions in the future. But if we continue to throw rocks and turds at each other, we're not going to get anywhere. And that, my friends, is not going to help anyone. It's not going to help the homeless people. It's not going to help the people dying from this infection. It's not going to help the people trying to eat, trying to find a job, trying to buy a car or a house. All the things that were normal 50, 60, 70 years ago are now impossible today. And all of that is based on who we elect and how we enforce what it is that we want to see in this world. I guess with the last 6 or 7 minutes, I mean, the call-in number's been up there the whole time. Phone has not rang once. I know it works. I can hear it, right? Anyway, lots of fun doing this. Not necessarily the morning show hosting itself, but at least the technology behind it. So, in that regard, I got a leg up on all y'all. And I had to learn it piece by piece by being curious as to each element. Taking the bits that I did know and integrating them into something I didn't know, and learning about the stuff I didn't know to make it stronger so that I could command it with the same level of expertise that I do the aspects of this that I do know going into it, if that makes any sense. I understand audio. I make audio work. Then I had to make audio work for radio. Then I had to make radio work. And then radio went away, and I had to make internet work. And every one of those is a challenge. Every one of those was a hair-pulling experience at times. But every one of them, like the Rubik's Cube, was a peek into curiosity in its purest form. And that's where you learn. That's where you start putting things together in your brain, the little patterns. The concepts, the parameters start coming together. You start seeing similarities and parallels between things in one world and things in another world. And it all becomes more transparent, a little easier to get a grasp on. It may still be intangible, but at least now it's manageable. Now I have a handle on some of this. Sorry, I thought we had something going on with our neighbor next door. Wasn't sure. I was hearing voices in my headset. But no, they're the trucks and such are at the mail department across the street. So they're making a lot of noise over there right now. That's what they do. They make noise. And they deliver mail. And I appreciate them for it. And yes, the post office is a lost cause for the most part financially because it was never meant to be a profitable. It's not Trump steak, right? It's just a necessary function as much as water and electricity and more so the internet. It's more of a utility than it is anything else. And because we don't read or write anymore and we send text and emails, that the mail itself is no longer needed except for direct mail campaigns. which is its official title. We know it as spam or junk mail. But it's also how we get our packages. It's also how we get our voter certificates. It's a very necessary function that now needs to be subsidized because we as human beings, as a species, no longer write. We don't send letters except maybe birthday or Christmas cards. That's when they make any sort of money at all, is when they're overworked. Kind of like the fast food guys, right? They don't have work until they're overworked. So they don't need to be on the regular rest of the shift. They can trim down their hours and come in just for the 3-hour rush. Come in and work your tail off for 3 hours and go home. And that's it. That's, that's how we do it, these rats here in America. That's who we are as a species. And we can change that, but I don't know. I was more optimistic when I was younger. And the more it happened to me, the more I realized it wasn't important to anybody else except me, because it was only me that it was happening to. And the more this happens across the 330 million people within our borders, the more difficult it's going to be to repair, remodel, rebuild. Build back better. Cute little slogan there you got, buddy. Make America great. Yeah, it's a great slogan you got there, buddy. But you're not doing anything. Stop with the crap and get with the work. Find the people that are out there doing the work, walking the walk. Those are the people. I believe Miss Adams would be one of those people. I know Chad, and I understand that her pedigree far outstrips his, that she's probably one of the better candidates for what's going on down there. I don't understand all of it, but I'm going to learn. I got another year. What a wonderful day. What a wonderful time. On the cusp of a decision. How do we take this going forward? Who do we become as a culture, as a nation, as a people? Are we going to have our own identity? Or have we already established our identity as some of the most heinous human beings on the planet? Because it may be that the French aren't wrong. Maybe we are some pretty horrible people. We can change that.
Keeping Oak Island informed. The Big Talker 106.7 FM WFBT, Carolina Beach.
Folks, you know you're all looking for that special gift. Lines are long, traffic is frustrating, supply chains